broken system, chained and tangled up in lies. Voices shouting, screaming in defeat. Politicians playing games under darkened skies. Hope lost in the dust of the street. Red and blue, colors pouring from the sky. Debates turn to anger, oh, the crowd gets loud. Punches flying in the blink of an eye. Truth buried deep beneath the shroud. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Faces on the screen, flashing perfect teeth. But behind those eyes, just rotting greed. Politicians turn to whispers beneath. They all just get what they need. Whispering conspiracies, drowning in their lies. Echoes of freedom, lost in cries. Spin the wheel of fate, let's see who rise. But this game will bleed you dry. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive.
I am fucking tired.
And with that, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Welcome to the bullpen. It's Sunday night.
I didn't realize we're still at the countdown going. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad this year is wrapping up because this week has finally done me in for all things for this year.
Yeah, I was telling them that I can't wait for this year to fucking end.
And this year started out with so much promise, and
It did.
we're
That's the
ending
thing
right
that's so
now.
disappointing
is
about it.
Crap.
Yeah. What can you do, man? What can you
Well,
do?
I guess. Well, I guess one person thinks he can do something, and I guess that's Dan Bongino because he's stepping out of the FBI, going back into his radio show. So
Oh,
maybe
no,
he
we're
thinks
gonna
he can
lose so
bring
much.
everybody back.
No, he.
I think he thinks he's more effective on his radio show trying to go into the midterms than he does as
I don't think
FBI.
Bongino cares. He wants to get the money again. His wife was going to divorce him. He didn't want to have to go through a divorce. So there you go. I mean, I'm very cynical.
Well, they've lived separated for almost a year now because
Yeah, and
she
she gave
stayed
him-
in Florida and
Oh.
he moved to DC.
Allegedly, the ultimatum was, you get down here or it's divorce, and so he did that.
Yeah.
I'm as cynical as they come when it comes to Patel and Bongino. They've, between them and Bondi, they've utterly fucked up the mission. So there.
And Bondi is screwed up even more this week.
Oh, man. Yeah, one thing that Brom and I were talking about before we went live was like how I have all this Epstein shit in my feed on Twitter. And it's all like pictures of, they're trying to say Trump's in the Epstein files, which he is, but for obviously different reasons. And there's all these pictures of him with his daughter, and they're trying to say, see, this is proof. Or there's like pictures with him like with adult cheerleaders. See, this is proof. It's like, God,
I'd be
fuck
pointing
up,
out
dude.
more of the pictures that came out with Bill Clinton in the goddamn hot tubs with Epstein as being more
which I found funny because, like on which one is I think it's CNN. They were like, "Well, I find it weird that there's not very much about Trump in there, but there's a whole bunch of pictures of Bill Clinton," and it's like,
Oh, really?
no, that's what we've been trying to tell you for decades. Bill Clinton was a sexual predator, and Jeffrey Epstein was palling around mostly with Democrats. Trump was a Democrat when they were hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
It does not surprise me at all. I find it hilarious that they thought, well, there won't be any actual Democrats in here. I mean, insane.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
that's where Bondi blew it this week because they had a specific deadline to release all of the Epstein stuff. And she's decided that they're doing it in batches. So we got that batch on Friday. You know, right as we're going into the weekend.
Oh, was it okay? It was Friday. All right.
Yeah, Friday
Yeah,
was
that's right. That makes
release
sense.
day.
Yeah.
That deadline is misleading, though, because if you read the actual text of the thing that passed, the DOJ still gets to redact.
Right.
Still gets to with. I mean, so she's well within. For all the Thomas Massey's, he wrote the goddamn bill, allegedly, and apparently doesn't know the loopholes they gave them in the bill, and is now talking about filing inherent contempt charges against Bondi and them. And it's like, you wrote the bill to give them the wiggle room to not do it. Sorry. Yeah, what do you expect? Not to mention the separation of powers issues with dictating that the executive branch has to release things. I mean, there's some touchy stuff about where it would get into if it was if they pursued charges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it something that they should be doing? No, they should be releasing this shit, but whatever. But is it the biggest thing? No, I don't. I've kind of, at this point, anything that was really damaging to anybody who mattered has been shredded or burned or removed from
redacted
from the earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they don't care about the Clintons anymore. They don't care about. I mean, it's only people we don't care who aren't really in any position to do anything. So,
Yeah, that's like
They
one
already
of the
took down
things.
Royals.
Yeah, that's one of the things about it. You're 100% right. It's like anything that probably that we want to know about has been destroyed years ago. But at the end of the day, it's that Bonnie is simply making it worse, and they should have come clean early in the year saying, "We don't have a whole lot, guys. Whatever what we do have is gone."
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what Trump has been saying is it's all just a hoax at this point.
Well, I mean, okay, using the term hoax, I think has completely different connotations, whereas the evidence has been destroyed versus, oh, yeah, it was a Democratic hoax. No, you can say that previous administrations probably destroyed all the evidence that we want
We
to
all
see.
know he's not the greatest at wording things.
I know.
But
I
I'm
know.
pretty sure that's what he was getting at is there's nothing there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I guess we could also talk about Georgia. Have you guys seen
if I was Rudy
that?
Giuliani, I'd be wanting to sue some people over the convictions.
Oh, I'd
that I
be
had.
suing for about 135 million plus interest.
Oh, so what happened in Georgia?
Georgia admitted that it certified 315,000 votes that lacked poll watcher signatures.
Specifically,
really?
Fulton County, which is Atlanta.
Fulton County.
But I was
Atlanta.
told there was no widespread, thingamajiggies going on.
Yeah. I don't know how this comes out this much later, but
It's safer. Nobody cares anymore. Would be my
Yeah.
guess.
that's my guess too. But yeah,
It came out this much later
315,000
because Trump has the DOJ now, and under Harmeet Dillon and their civil rights, they were actually requesting and demanding copies of the election information.
of the election information.
No, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, if we had another Democratic president, this shit wouldn't be happening right now. It
Well,
would be
Trump-
buried, lost, and forgotten.
Yeah. Well, the DOJ is suing Fulton County now, so to get everything released because that was just an admission made by one of the one of the workers, or well, I guess it wasn't one of the workers, one of the higher ups in the Georgia elections. But yes, they full on admitted that they didn't have. So you're supposed to sign it when you're dealing with these specific ballots. You're supposed to sign in at the beginning of the day, zero out the machines, and then sign off that it was that the count was correct at the end of the day. And they just stopped signing off on the count at the end of the day. So those videos we saw of people just, running ballots double, that's likely what that was. And when
Gotta love it, man.
it was Fulton that that's where they ended up having the pipe break that never happened, wasn't it? Because that was Georgia, not Pennsylvania. But
I thought it was Pennsylvania that had the pipe break.
I thought it
No.
was Georgia.
Georgia lied. Said
There never
that's-
was a pipe break.
Said that's why they had to kick the observers out,
Yeah.
and then they continued to count. And then we're like, oh yeah, it never actually was a problem. It was like an overflowing toilet.
Yep.
By the way, I
Overflowing
think Biden won the presidency and Georgia effectively by about 11,000 votes.
11,500, I think.
Yep. And in previous federal election case law prior to Trump being involved, anything like that where because you can't ever prove, like, it's hard to get the definitive proof of like changing the ballots. But if you can prove that the suspect
custody.
number of ballots was sufficient under normal margins to swing the election, meaning like even a 70-30 split would have swung the election, in which this 300,000 ballots that would have swung the election, they would order it. And they have in the past. Federal judges have ordered new elections for Congress and for Senate and all those sorts of other things based on doing this kind of, because you rarely get a smoking gun. So the way you do a federal election case law when you're challenging an election prior to Trump, this had always been the case under precedent. You bring in specialists to prove that there was chain of custody issues, that the number of ballots that were impacted were sufficient to impact the margin of victory. And two, what you would also look at is like counties or districts. You could do voting comparisons, like we found a county with the same kind of demographic makeup and rough like economics of the one that we're in, and this was the voting breakdown, and this is how disproportionate it was here. This is again prior to Trump, because in 2020, if you look at only these swing districts magically in Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona, magically they were the only districts where suddenly Trump underperformed compared to what he had performed in 2016. Every other district in the entire goddamn country, including like districts, I think in Wisconsin, they pulled up districts just across the border. I think in was it Illinois or wherever, that have pretty much the same demographics, and Trump like overperformed in those zones by his normal 15 to 20%. Whereas in these swing districts, he suddenly underperformed by like 50%. And it was like, in any other kid situation, that would be clearly acceptable and recognized evidence of election fraud. Except in 2020, where we use the no standing. Sorry, we're not going to
free
hear
and
this
secure
case.
election in history.
Yeah. I mean, it was the most safe and secure election ever on the history of the planet, guys.
Channels were shut down over this lie.
Yeah.
Laws were made. Our economy was ruined over this lie.
Mm-hmm. Well, our economy was ruined over a different lie, but yeah, I mean, I get your point.
Yeah.
Well, we are still like, for all the people unhappy with Trump, and I get there's a lot of things to criticize, the Herculean effort to genuinely secure the southern border, which has been done, and then have millions of people actually deported from the United States, given the structural impediments. Like you can, I mean, we've talked about it. Just every district court in the country seems to be trying to shut him down from doing this. He's
Yeah.
been
Every
the
move he's
fact that
made.
him and Tom Holman and all those people in ICE have managed to still get, I think we're up to around 2.5 million confirmed deportations. Not
Is
even
that
counting,
including the self?
not counting the self deportations. I think
Exactly.
it's higher with those. But you know, like 2.5 million actual deportations, like where the ICE has been like, get the F out, you know, and they've gotten the paperwork and done it, is ridiculous. Like any other like deal, that would be like a Mount Rushmore level of effort from the president to do that. Now Trump has also been trying to use tariffs to renegotiate and reshore jobs. I mean, he is basically trying to speed run fixing 30, 40 years of people doing this stuff. Now, people bring up, why didn't he do it in the first term? He tried to work within the system much more in the first term, and they effed him. And now he's
And
doing
I don't
his
think
best.
his own cabinet was on board with anything
Yeah.
in the first term.
Yeah. Whereas now he's got, I mean, I can't give enough. I mean, for as disappointing as Kash Patel, Bongino, and Bondi have been, Marco Rubio and Hegseth and Noam have been the opposite. I make
Yeah.
jokes about her being, you know, Ice Barbie and all, but she's still running.
She's doing the job.
Now, whether you're saying Tom Homan is really doing it, sometimes as a cabinet secretary, letting a subordinate, just getting out of the way and letting your subordinate do that work, it's not as easy to find people who do that as you'd think. Anybody who's worked in a corporate setting, you know,
Yeah,
where
delegation's important.
it's easy to like want to jump in there and try to do it. Oh yeah, I don't want to forget Tulsi. She's the one. I mean, the cabinet this time is light years ahead
And
of where we
JD.
were. Yeah. So I do, you know, getting into the end of the year, give you guys a nice white pill is to start looking at the W's we have stacked. I know people joke about.
I'm not black-pilled on the administration. I'm
No.
black-pilled on everything that's happened since Charlie. And all the crap that's going on just kind of in the coalition that was built. And I'm perfectly happy with what Trump's been doing. I voted for all this. We're still getting wins. But yeah, I take your point. We don't want to be too big of a downer.
Yeah.
But
well, and the other thing too,
I'm truly furious with what happened at AMFEST. So
yeah, and one of the big issues too is that in a lot of ways, you could say the Epstein stuff has become a weapon of mass distraction. I mean, it is important, but the issue is that it's going to be weaponized by the other side, like what we're seeing now. And a lot of it is, as I mentioned, where there's like pictures of Trump and his daughter, and they're trying to say, "Oh, look, he's with, you know, a child. He's a you know, PDF file." And I think a lot of that is probably more distraction to take, you know, for the stuff that we are getting, like with Bill Clinton, and as well as other stuff. So it seems like, hey, look at all this stuff. Like I said, my timeline is flooded with all these pictures of Trump and his daughter right now. It's fucking ridiculous, and I'm that is being used to distract from something else, and either it's the Bill Clinton stuff or it's something else. I honestly I can't say.
Well, I don't know if the media is going to use it as a distraction, but I don't know what it's going to be distracting from, because they didn't get to choose when it's coming out.
Right.
I mean, they knew when it would be coming out, but it also did a dump on a Friday evening to where nobody's talking about Bill Clinton being all over the pictures.
Yep.
Because the mainstream media is not covering it. All they're covering is this. I mean, all we've seen is the stuff on Twitter. There's been very little on actual mainstream news.
Yeah.
But,
well, I think the reason why the Twitter heads are doing it is because of, I'm guessing because of Clinton.
Clicks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
Yeah, if it's not going to be shown anywhere else, you're going to get the clicks because, yeah, everybody was sifting through the release as quickly as they could on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the influencers, at least on the right, have been busy because they've been over at AMFEST.
Right.
So you're not seeing their takes on it for the most part because they're all not at home.
Fair enough.
But, yeah. What was it? So did we want to cover a little bit more on the Epstein stuff? Because, yeah, Bill did come out and try to give himself a weak defense, and it was basically not a defense at all. It was really pathetic.
It
Did you say
depends on the
he didn't
definition
inhale?
of age of consent, people.
Yeah, I was gonna say something stupid like, I didn't inhale, or what is the definition of is?
I never did anything with a woman who was not legally able to consent in the state I was at. Well, what if you were on Epstein Island where it's international and there is no age of consent? I stand by my answer.
The spokesperson came out and said the White House hasn't been hiding these files for months, only to dump them late on a Friday to protect Bill Clinton. This is about shielding themselves from what comes next, or from what they'll try to hide forever. And then went on, so they can release as many grainy 20-year plus photos as they want, but this isn't about Bill Clinton. Never has been, never will be. So there's still, they're going to just deflect and say, oh, but there will be more stuff that's coming out that's not about Bill. So all we have to do is get through, this initial dump. And I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, I don't think so either.
But there is no denial. There is nothing of, well, none of these people were underage. There's nothing. He's just trying to hide from what's going to be coming out later.
Well, I think that if he comes out and denies it, it could be used against him, potentially in a court of law if it goes that far. I mean, I don't think it will, but
I don't know. I mean, if you're releasing all the evidence, you're not planning on prosecuting any of the people. That was
the statute
my
of
big
limitations is run on all of it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So anybody who we wanted to see prosecuted, it was not going to happen either way. And releasing the file just means they're just going to be prosecuted in the court of public opinion at this point.
Right. I was going to say and not that Bill Clinton has any future aspirations in politics, but it's going to basically level anyone's career or put a massive stain on their footnote of history as a result of this. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of that would be the benefit of it, I guess.
Because we did see some other celebrities in there, but it was like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He's not around.
No.
Who else was in there? Did you look at him, Chad?
Well, and the other thing too, it was just
the
like
same
pictures
that
with
we've
him with
always seen.
Epstein. It wasn't like something really incriminating though. It's like that. It's like the same thing that we see with
You
Bill
can't
Clinton.
release,
And
God forbid if they had pictures of this is where I will give the Department of Justice some leeway. Like, people got mad when they released a page that was entirely redacted. But if you look at the heading of the page, it was details of minor victim number, whatever. And it was like, well, that is per DOJ policy. You don't release victim information. And if that page, as it was headlined, was just like everything about the victim, you're going to redact it.
then don't fucking release it. I mean, that's all you have to do, though.
That's-
I mean,
But that's
But
not what.
that's
But that's
what
where
the law
FOIA
said
comes
that
in. The
you
law
had
says
to.
you have your ability to. You have to. You can use policy guidelines to redact information based on existing DOJ rules and policies. In this case, whether actually, I think it's true of whether it's a minor victim or an adult victim. The policy of prosecution departments all over the country is that you don't give out victim information.
no,
ever.
and I totally get that. I do, and I'm not against it. But I think there's a difference. It looks bad when you basically just are releasing a blacked out page at that point. But it's like, I understand. To me, it's like, it just seems like it's better not to fucking put it out there to begin with at that point. But yes, FOIA, I get it. But it just seems counterproductive and pointless at that point.
The whole thing has been.
Yeah.
All right, so
I mean,
I have
this has been something that has just been draped across this presidency the whole time as a distraction.
Yep. I
Well,
have a question.
okay. Part of it too is that he basically said he was going to release this if he got elected, and I think once you get the information, and again, people aren't going to be happy. But if the information you have is like, okay, all the stuff that the juicy bits guys that we want, it's not there. It's probably been destroyed. That's all you have to do at this point. But we've kind of already covered that, so I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a question. Which was gayer, the Friday night release of the Epstein files and Bill Clinton with Epstein, or Paul and Tate getting their asses handed to them when they actually
Paul got
fought?
his jaw completely broken.
Yeah, I mean, this is what
Wow,
was
That
going to
thing was
happen.
sideways.
I saw an article. It was on. It was talking about how all the betting was going for Paul, and the betting sites weren't moving the line. Normally, all right, the way it works is gambling sites want to have a 50-50 split on betting
Mhm.
so that they can cover. But in this case, people are like, why aren't they moving the line? This is possibly a major miscalculation by these betting. It's like, no, because they're like, if these dumb fucks want to waste all this money betting on Paul because against a real boxer this time who was legitimately going to kick his ass, they will take all of your money, man. The game, like, these guys aren't stupid. If you're,
I'm betting that most of the gamblers thought it would be a rigged fight, like the others seemed.
but
to have
this
been.
isn't. This is he's not fighting some over the hill.
Oh, I know.
Used up. This was a real boxer who has legitimate, prime of his career. So he wasn't going to be taking a dive for Paul. He was going to beat the ever loving shit out of him and get his 20 million purse.
I didn't see. I saw the actual end of the fight, but how far into the fight was that? Was that like literally the first 2 or 3 punches?
Oh, I mean, within the first like punch, Paul was like, "Fuck." You can see his face.
Well, he
Like,
got stunned on the one punch and then dropped his gloves down completely.
By the way,
and
this
that's
is
when he got the
I
jaw
think this
broke.
is the different. I think this is the other Paul, not the one that fought Tyson.
This
right.
one's Logan, isn't it?
I was gonna say, isn't that Logan Paul?
Is it? Yeah, this one's Logan. It wasn't that other one Jake that
Jake.
fought.
Jake
Yeah.
Paul? Yeah,
It's either that or vice versa.
I had no clue. They both
Yeah.
look the same to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was hilarious to see, like these, and then big man. I from the moment they did the weigh in, where the one guy kind of did the flinch check on Mr. Tate, and he backed up. It was like, okay, you are gonna get your butt kicked. Like,
Did Tate lose?
yeah, he got his ass kicked too.
Figured.
That kind of, I don't know. Do you think that puts a big black eye? I mean, no pun intended, black eye on his manosphere stuff.
I think that's something else that's big in black put more of an issue on for him than the eye.
Well, he was like head level with it.
I am
In that
this
picture,
is
yeah.
I'm obviously I'm just saying things that are my opinion. I'm not like Keri just being like, I know somebody. But my opinion is that Tate is 100% closeted.
Really?
Yes. You ever seen him work that hookah pipe? He looks like he's cross-referencing skill sets.
Interesting. No, I have not. I'll be honest with you. I really don't pay much attention to Andrew Tate.
It's
So.
Does
like
he
that.
always smoke it with his other hand?
Yeah,
under
don't
it
forget
like
to
this?
cup the stream there.
A little bit of hookah ball tending.
See, this is where we sorely miss Charlie Kirk so bad.
Yeah.
To kind of bring it back, like Charlie Kirk was the best defense against the Tates and the Fuenteses because he could speak to the same disaffected youth that is their target demo, and he was a light and guiding force moving them towards productive action, doing things that help themselves and the country. But
Yeah.
with him off the board, this is where there's no it's no mistake that the algorithm is back to promoting these guys, because the people who are not interested in genuinely helping America or the American people are very much enthusiastic about moving large swaths of people into watching Tate and watching Fuentes, because what is Fuentes's number one thing he ends up doing? Don't go vote. Don't bother. We're the the Groiper army is against Trump. We're all you stay home.
Mhm.
Like he is a psyop. He's his glow in the dark rating is like a half life of 10,000 years. He's so glowy. These guys are trying to suck people and then push them towards the most toxic outcomes that also coincidentally don't actually produce real movement in the positive direction. What is Tate trying to get you to do? Be a top G that gets girls on OnlyFans making money for you?
Yeah, become a pimp.
Yeah. And
Mm.
for most people, this is, hate to break the reality check to you, you're not going to end up with a harem of bitches, quote unquote. You're going to end up an OnlyFans simp sending money to one of those women.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's what I think 90% of the Tate audience probably turns over into that camp rather than being the digital pimp that he is. Which, by the way, that is not even up for question. He has given statement after statement, interview after interview, where he acknowledges effectively that he is doing that, regardless of whether anything else is true or not. He is acknowledged and stated that is his business model. So that's not even an issue of fact, as they would say in a court setting. Yeah,
Yep.
so that's what I feel like. That's the reason the two top targets to be taken out were Trump, and they failed at taking out Trump through a miracle of God. Logistically, the 2 millimeter difference between an ear wound and
A
a
headshot.
and a
And a temple
JFK
shot.
reenactment
Mhm.
is, that's ridiculous.
A lead facial.
Yeah, and so I think it's clear that the that they were whether, and I believe that the guy they arrested is the one who did it, but they were trying to get somebody. You can see they were psyoping boards. I think they were ginning up. This is where I think the FBI is being disingenuous and not sharing some of the information, and hopefully it comes out in court with who was talking to him online,
Right. Why did
motivating
so
him.
many people know what was coming before it happened?
If there's one thing I know that FBI field offices are capable of doing, it's motivating weak-minded people into doing stupid things. See
Right.
Michigan governor
Mhm.
kidnapping
Whitmer.
plots.
Yeah.
So
And copied, we'll get into AMFEST. I've got clips of everything, so we'll get into
yeah,
there
so
at some point.
the loss of Charlie is a big one, and I don't know. It's nobody. None of the people who are fighting for his mantle now are gonna be the people who actually take it. It's gonna be it's gonna be an unknown.
I actually think Matt Walsh said it best, because right after Charlie, there was a whole bunch of people that were like, you know, we went from one Charlie to millions of Charlies, and it's like, no, we went from one Charlie to 0 Charlies.
Mhm.
There is not going to be another Charlie in the same way that Charlie was.
So this,
Yeah.
I would say that if anybody's seen The Incredibles, right? Like you can't. It sounds great to be like we've got a million of you here, but what is the line Syndrome says when everybody's special, nobody's
Nobody
special.
is. Yeah.
If everybody's Charlie, nobody's Charlie,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
the problem. Like
He did evangelize a ton of people. I mean,
no,
millions
but you need
turned to the party, but
you need
you need
someone
him
to step
to
up.
keep them there.
Yes, you need a person. Yes, I believe he's irreplaceable, but a new person who's different and will lead in a different way will hopefully rise up to take, like, because you need leadership. If you're
The sad
left,
thing is, generationally, that generation just lost their leader.
right.
And you're probably not going to see somebody else from that generation rise, because they would have already been on the board, I would think.
I don't know. I mean, they're still young. I mean, Charlie was only what 20,
33.
He was
33. Well,
33. I thought he was 31.
I think he was 33.
Okay.
I mean, that's still young enough that it's
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
No.
it's still young.
It's young, but he had been doing this since he was 18 to
Yeah.
prepare for this. You're not at 33 just going to suddenly know everything Charlie was able to know.
Well,
Or
I
speak
think
the way Charlie was able to speak, or
Right.
debate the way he was able to debate.
I think at this point, no one's going to obviously replace him, but it doesn't mean that people can't step up and continue to try and do his work, right?
No, I think somebody will come along. I just don't think for that generation,
Yeah.
there's somebody waiting in the wings in any way to do it. I think it's going to have to come from that
I
next
don't know.
generation to be the next voice for the youth.
Okay, they're saying, yeah, he was 31. He was turned 32 2 weeks after his
Okay.
death. Wow. Thanks, Randall. And Bell. And our house. Haas. But yeah, it doesn't mean there can't be another leader. And God forbid if it fucking falls to Fuentes.
That's
But
the worry.
yeah, I know. And it seems like he's definitely been picking up a lot of steam. Whether it is naturally or somebody pulling the strings. I know that the media right now has been trying to push him. Was it New York Times that wrote that article, and they had that black and white photo making him kind of look like James Dean? Yeah,
It's been the media and the new media.
Yeah.
And like we were talking before, I don't have problems with people platforming as long as you actually push back where you have disagreement.
Mm.
I mean, I
Well,
would
I
never
mean, and
platform
that's-
them, but it's not like I'm in the position to anyway. But even
Yeah.
if I was, not a chance. I wouldn't bring on Andrew Tate either. I didn't like when Benny brought on Andrew Tate and then just kind of, glossed over everything and praised him for everything and brought Alina Habba on to also talk with Tate because she was fangirling out for him. And I like Benny, but that was a major misstep.
Right. As much as I think Piers Morgan kind of botched some of the interview with him, he did push back quite a bit. There's
He did.
certain things that I think he focused a little too much on, more so than anything else. But yeah.
I think Steven Crowder was correct saying that Piers was a little bit ineffective in his pushback because
Right.
he was not going to get an answer on certain things. Continue the interview. You've shown that you don't agree with that.
Right.
Now get to something else. Don't keep harping right back to the one thing that you want him
I agree
to
with
just
that.
say yes or no to.
Right.
Because he's not going to.
No.
And in the past, he's already said, yeah, I'm a racist. So you don't need to get into why he's a racist. Just call him out for it and move on.
Right.
Let him hang himself.
Agreed.
Yes, Piers did push back on Candace as well. I've got clips from that.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't seen that interview yet, so that should be interesting.
That's probably where we'll start this whole AMFEST thing, because even though Candace Owens was not at AMFEST, her specter was there across the whole thing, at least from the outside perspective. I would love to talk to Culture and find out, what it was like being on the actual floor there, because he was at AMFEST. If we weren't doing the show at this time of night, I probably would have tried to get him on for it. But it seemed like it was just from speech one, it was an immediate divide in the room. And speech one, first guest speaker, Erica spoke first, if I remember correctly. But for the primetime lineup, Ben Shapiro went out and kicked everything off, and he immediately called out everybody who is not calling out Candace. And that seemed to create a pretty big divide in the room. But we'll start with, because at the beginning of the week, here's what happened. Erica and Candace met last Sunday or Monday, and that was to try to get this to all stop. Candace went out the next day, did the interview with Piers, and then went on her own show. She basically said, even though I said that I would stop if Erica told me to stop, I don't really believe anything that she told me, so I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing. So we'll start with Piers Morgan because that's the only real clip I have that is kind of after that meeting. So let me bring that one up real quick. So the whole thing with Candace is she's insinuating constantly all these other parties are involved in this. Like, it's Israel, it's the French Foreign Legion, it's Turning Point USA, it's Erica herself. And it's pretty disgusting. So we'll start here.
Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen. I didn't say that they murdered Charlie.
You said that people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that I said was that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No, you didn't.
I believe
Sorry, you
that
didn't.
thoroughly.
Oh my God. Wow.
Are you going to believe what I said on tape? Or are you going to believe what I told you I said now?
And then she changes it to, on my show, this is what I say.
Candice, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that on my entire
You said
show.
there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen.
You said complicit in the murder. Because I said who at Turning Point was involved in his murder. And
Let
you
me
said,
clarify for you. Okay, you can keep saying what I said, or you can listen to what I am saying.
Okay.
When I was using the analogy,
You can keep saying what I said that I'm saying I didn't say, or you can listen to what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
And she thinks if she just speed runs past
I'm going to
points
say something.
that she wins.
And to our female audience that we have, don't take this personal. That's 100% a wife way of arguing. And
or Mad Cheesemo.
Yeah, or Mad.
Listen to what I mean, not what I say.
I didn't say I didn't put DMs in the chat. Yes, you did, Matt. Here's where you did it. Well, who are you gonna believe?
I had to say she's fucking brilliant, dude. She's a fucking brilliant grifter. And
that's all she is.
100%. She is the fucking fox that was let into the hen house.
Yes. And it's been into multiple hen houses.
Yep.
Because it started with, I mean, there was Blexit, there was Turning Point, there was PragerU, there was the Daily Wire, and she was with Turning Point. She has been cut loose from every single place that she has worked, and nobody has had a good thing to say about her.
Yep.
And now she's not even pretending to be some kind of conservative anymore. Nothing from her show is any kind of conservative influence.
No, she was never one to begin with.
Well, I mean, when she was Daily Wire, she was at least spouting the talking points. WG for $20. Turning Point was not complicit in this super chat. But that's like $6,980 short of what I should be getting for this stream. Thank you, WG.
JFK, and we were connecting it. I was basically pushing back on you because you were suggesting that, all of these people being involved would be crazy. So I was applying the analogy
I said,
of what happened to
know.
JFK. Well, you actually, if you go back and listen.
I said, I don't know JFK's assassination. And we recently had a lot of the files released, which did not conclusively prove any of these things, right? Now, again, I don't know what happened to JFK.
No,
Make it clear.
Piers, I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts
Candice,
here correctly.
let me spell out my thought very
clearly.
You're not thinking correctly.
She's a fucking bullshit artist.
I do have to say...
This is fast talking, guys. This is her trying to fucking fast talk.
Yep. I do have to say thank you to Milk Bar TV, who I believe that's who put this together, and that's who has at least got the stamp on it. I love that they did the later, earlier thing. So much more effective than trying to go do it and just show the interview. So...
Been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen. My entire
You said there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts
Candice,
here correctly.
let me spell out my thought very
So that's Candace now. And, we went through we went over Candace's stuff last week with Keri. Yeah, I don't trust a freaking thing that she says. I don't like her at all. I think she's a raging bitch at this point. But Ben Shapiro went out and made his first speech, or his speech for Turning Point. So we'll go to that one next, because this is what kind of kicked off Turning Point. And I think he was right to do it. I don't know that he's the right voice to do it, but he's the one who did it. And I don't have a problem with him doing this at all. But it did put kind of a damper on the rest of it, the rest of AMFEST, because it sure seemed like everybody just had to respond to Ben. So we'll hear from Mr. Shapiro.
Coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk
Keep in mind, everybody on Twitter from Candace's side will tell you that he was just getting booed this whole time.
Yeah, no. That's
Does that
people
sound
cheering.
like booing?
No.
That was the loudest cheering I heard, except for J.D. Vance, all weekend.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
Agreed.
Yep.
100%.
And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice. The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly.
Wow.
He went on to name quite a few of the people. Tucker being one for platforming Fuentes. He, of course, named Megyn Kelly. I believe he named Steve Bannon at one point. And he did name
Steve
Fuentes
Bannon
as a
had
problem.
issues with the Epstein stuff too, by the way. He came out. He was all up in that.
Bannon also had a speech at TPUSA and was not happy with Ben. And I understand some people not liking Ben. He is very Israel first for obvious reasons, but I can usually discern when he's going too far into that direction as far as we are America first. I understand his reasons for, kind of being on the Israel train all the time. And I don't agree with him on a lot of things. I didn't agree on the vax. I didn't agree with his take on the election, the 2020 election. There's a lot of things I disagree with. But you're never going to agree with any of the journalists / influencers 100% of the time. You're not going to agree with us 100% of the time. We don't agree with each other 100% of the time.
Not even close.
I still think they are useful. What I do not think is useful is a lying bitch like Candace Owens. Or a raging racist like Nick Fuentes. Or a raging misogynist like Andrew Tate. I think we are right to denounce them. I don't think the Republican Party coalition that was being built needs those ideas in it. I think we can take ideas from people that have come into this coalition, like RFK and Maha.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you take the good ideas. You don't bring in the horrible, ideas and say, well, we're a big tent, so we're just going to have to accept that you've got horrible ideas that completely are antithetical to what we believe. And I don't think Nick Fuentes is a conservative. I don't think Candace is. And I don't think Andrew Tate is. So we'll get to J.D. Vance later, because that kind of addresses what he said in his speech. And I know what he meant, but I disagree with him on that. So we'll get there. Who do we have next? Because I'm going to try to show him.
I do have a succinct and timely response to Candace Owens. And this is something that everybody needs to remember when you're listening to her. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in.
Yeah. True.
She's been one from when she started trying to dox people.
Yep.
That was, I think people need to, I think as Brahma has pointed out from when we've had to discuss her lately, her origin story within the conservative movement wasn't coming in as a Blexit person. It was initially coming in trying to dox people in Gamergate.
Yeah.
For saying naughty things about Anita Sarkeesian and
Zoe Quinn.
That dude Brianna Wu.
Yeah.
And Zoe Quinn, who is a top shelf hua in the gaming space.
Not even a good one. Why wouldn't you call her top shelf?
Because she managed to not get paid for doing nothing.
Yeah.
She didn't even have to give you the girlfriend experience. She gave you the angry blue-haired girl.
You mean
experience.
She got paid for doing nothing?
Yeah, she got paid. I mean, that's top shelf. If you're a hooer and you can get
that's
paid
platinum.
for not doing anything, that's the highest end one you get.
And dearest, the only reason Andrew Tate gets brought up is because he has a lot of influence on the youth of the right. I mean, I would prefer him not be any part of any talk, but we're calling him out for the same reason we would call out Fuentes, because they're garnering a youthful audience, and that's where Charlie was the countermeasure, as Chad was saying earlier.
Yep. One thing too, I know that Lindsay basically said that Fuentes is irrelevant. I don't remember exactly. It was something along that lines. I disagree. Because there's a lot of youth that are drifting towards him right now.
Specifically the males. Yeah. And the males are what Charlie was winning, because the females are already not on the right at all.
Mm-mm.
So you've got to keep more of the males from going over to that way of thinking.
Yeah.
At least in my mind.
Yeah. And Charlie Kirk was kind of the bulwark against people like Fuentes. So, yeah.
Yes. So Tucker was about an hour later. Yeah,
Tucker Carlson, sponsored by the Qataris.
Qatar. And again, Tucker is somebody I have respected, and I went to, during the election, I went to his show that he put on here on behalf of Trump. Saw him in Tulsi. But
here's where
Tucker's been going a little bit weird, but he can still be a good voice.
And here's where I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's okay to, all right, this is as opposed to crazy see you next Tuesday Candace Owens. I am more than happy to have a functional debate about whether blind support of Israeli foreign policy is the right thing for the American people, especially within the Middle East. I think that is a conversation that is a long time coming, because sometimes Israeli foreign policy could be at odds with our greater goals for the region. as I laid out last week, talking about Saudi Arabia and some of the history there. So I don't necessarily mind having like the policy debate about Israel and how supportive we should be of Israel. And I get that there's some people who are blindly of the position that they're the only democracy in the Middle East. They're our only real ally there. We should support them as strongly as possible. I disagree with that completely. I think a realist foreign policy where you support the people doing things that support your goals is all you should be doing.
I look at
Because-
Israel as a bulwark because during the 1300 years where Israel didn't exist, Islam literally was just running into Christendom anywhere that they could. Ever since Israel has come back into existence, for the most part, they've focused on Israel. So I do believe in supporting them to a degree. I do believe in at least selling them arms and being allied with them. Do I think they should come before anything in our country? No.
No,
But I do think they
yeah.
serve a purpose for our country.
Well, that's what I mean. I think that's where this is important, because having voices start to question that is going to be legitimate policy debate. I think that Tucker has gone a little rabid, I want to
Yes.
say, with some of the, this is where it starts being a problem. Like,
But this
having
is
if he was-
disagreement. This isn't everything Tucker does is crazy.
Yeah, I think if Tucker was still continuing to fight on a policy level against it, like, hey, I'm not, like, taking some of the talking points about Israel being the great evil, doing this X, Y, and Z, but just strictly speaking, like, does it help our American first agenda when we're trying to make deals with Saudi Arabia to end wars and lower the price of gas and do all these other things if we just blindly support Israel launching airstrikes into every country we have air bases in?
Nice, Zach. The way Candace eyes are drifting apart, she sees things the rest of us just don't. Just not where she's going.
I mean, I always wondered why she reminded me of Britney Spears. But so that's where I think this part is healthy, and I think Charlie Kirk recognized that and was kind of bringing that into the turning point, because if you talk to the younger generation, there is not, and this is a function of time passing, right? There is not a blind observance to what Israel represented, because now we've got other countries within the Middle East that we can work with to try to get agenda items moving. Whereas where our parents' generation was coming from the point of Iranian Revolution, bombing of Marine barracks in Beirut and all these other things, where Israel was really our only point of hope within that entire region. So I think that as Charlie was recognizing in some of the things that have come out, he didn't want to blindly write a blank check to specifically Netanyahu, not so much Israel as
Israel's
the country.
Government, not Israel.
Yeah, so that's where, and that's what I think is, I think that is a reasonable, and I think turning point, having that discussion and being open about that discussion is going to be very key to trying to keep the younger audience, because whether we want to acknowledge it or not, one of the reasons Fuentes makes inroads is because traditional neocon Republican orthodoxy is thou shalt not speak ill of Israel. And people don't like being told that they can't call out things that don't seem to make sense.
Well, and before we go on
I
to
agree.
Tucker, then I will bring up what happened in the Q&A after Ben, because I kind of had spaced that part out. But they did do a Q&A kind of like at any one of these events where you have the speaker and then they give their speech for 10, 15 minutes and then they do a short Q&A session. So you get this Groyper getting up, and this is why it's important. You get a Groyper up there, and he immediately starts attacking about the USS Liberty. An event that took place, 60, 70 years ago?
Yeah.
That Israel completely paid back for. They claimed it was a mistake. Don't know what exactly happened. I mean, there's plenty of accounts of it. I think some of the people that were on the ship were not real happy about it, and
I'm
I
sure
think a
just
few
like the
people
Gulf
were
of
dead.
the Gulf of Tonkin was also a super error. Oopsie.
But it's also a 60 to 70-year-old thing. It really
I mean,
doesn't.
should we let Pearl Harbor go? I'm just saying stuff that happened
Pearl
in the
Harbor
past.
intentional. I don't know on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know 100% about it.
I have
I
a
know
lot of suspicions
what is
about
said.
anytime an incident like that happens, and this is, I'm going to put the Gulf of Tonkin where we did it as well, or remember the Maine when we wanted to start a war with Spain, the Spanish American War down in Cuba, where that was a boiler explosion, and the yellow journalists of the day completely made it into a sabotage event. Anytime where something is easily manipulated to produce a desired foreign policy outcome, usually in an armed conflict, I get very suspicious of, because when there's so many interests that gain or benefit from something, it's just too silly to say that it's not, like that it wouldn't make sense that it was purposeful. Just, I don't know.
But fog of war and friendly fire happens all the time, too.
Yeah, it does.
Mod Eric K with a point that I have made many times as well. For $1 over on the Rumble side, people need to remember no matter what we do, just like Israel, we are the great Satan. It
Right.
is what is taught from birth no matter what we do.
Yep.
Yes, there's the little Satan and the great Satan. And you get rid of one and the other becomes the full-on target.
Well,
So
I think us on this show have been very clear that we're not saying, by asking questions, at least specifically me, because maybe I'm the voice doing it on this show, questions of Israeli governmental foreign policy would in any way preclude me from being a zealous advocate against the religion of peace and and its march across the globe. So,
right. Copy Kitty gives 5 Brahma Bowl memberships. Thank you very much, Copied. Those went to Jonathan Conroy, Deeple, Punk Waddle, Alexander Tan, and John Wayne. Congratulations, you're now members of the Bullpen. And thank you again, Copied. All right, let's hear Tucker's response.
I just got here, and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes, and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what? This is hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening to myself.
If you notice, the cheering is a little bit more muted for Tucker.
Thinking, as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events, they always play, like, the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody?
This is where I completely disagree with him. Denouncing and deplatform are two completely different things. Denounce bad ideas doesn't mean you can't talk to people. Doesn't mean you can't have the argument or the debate. But what Tucker did with Fuentes was, completely softball. He didn't denounce anything. He just let Fuentes put on whatever idea he wanted out there. And nobody's trying to deplatform Tucker. That is not what Ben was saying at all.
else,
No.
the whole like
No, that's not how I took it. I think he was referring to, Fuentes, obviously.
Yes. And saying that Tucker should have had some balls.
Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life.
He didn't debate him. He let him say whatever he wanted and kind of just, I'm Tucker. That's what everybody was upset about with Tucker.
Hold on,
about the Fuentes
let's
thing.
not back up and go over the fact that your Tucker laugh is basically Mickey Mouse.
So is Tucker's laugh.
Hello.
I'm Bob Iger. Why's your hand up my ass?
And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which
That is true. He was told not to have Tucker on, and Charlie said, I don't care what they say as far as the sponsors pulling money or investors pulling money out of Turning Point USA. I will have Tucker on if I want to have Tucker on.
That's good that I stand by his principles. I respect that.
And that has been stated over and over and over by everybody, including Charlie Kirk himself before he was shot.
she asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be. But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive, well, I wonder why you're asking that question. I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul. And everyone listening should know that listening to you implicates them, and that they someday may be asked to denounce you, and that friendship is not a reason to defend someone. Love is no defense. I kind of thought we'd reached the end of that, and as far as I'm concerned, we have, and I'm not going to play by those rules. I'm not going to engage in that.
That's the gist of it. There's only a few seconds left of that clip. Tucker went on to say that if his brother went on a murdering spree, he would not denounce him. Or, I can't remember what the exact wording was that he said. But
Well, that's dumb. I mean, you can still love the person, but denounce the actions of what they did.
Exactly.
I mean,
But I can't remember what exact words he used, but he was like, I wouldn't turn on my brother if he went on a murdering spree. That's crazy. So I'm not going to turn on my friends. And it's like, it's not asking to turn on your friends necessarily. It's asking to push back.
do you not get in arguments with your friends, dude? I mean, do you not have disagreements with them? I mean, that's reality. You do. There's plenty of friends I have that I don't see eye to eye on, politics or whatever. But they're still my friends.
Yeah. And Copy's asking, why was Tim Pool uninvited? Just curious. Don't know. I would assume it's because he was, he did not show up to the memorial. So that's probably where most of these people were talking about what was going to happen later in the year.
Yeah. I mean,
he's scared to death of the security situations right now. So
yeah, I think that was a factor. And I also think that he basically made a comment about like how Charlie Kirk's security didn't do enough. And I'm pretty sure that rubs some people the wrong way.
And after he complained that he didn't get invited, this is from Tim Pool a few nights ago. He said, yeah, they reached back out and said, we're invited, but I'm not going. Because he was already in Vegas at that point. And had already scheduled shows and all that kind of stuff. So he wasn't going to drop what he already had scheduled to go do it. But he complained until he got his invite.
Dumbass. That's all I got to say.
I guess the next one we'll do, just for some levity being added back into the stream, is Rob Schneider. And also in between all of these, Russell Brand was out there and he looked extremely uncomfortable in between the bin and the Tucker thing. So he was trying to do comedy and
animal.
But Rob Schneider goes out and does a little bit of roasting. So we'll bring that one up next.
I just heard that Candace Owen has proof that the Venezuelan boats were blown up by the Zionist state of Israel.
Before we get too deep into it, I cannot stand that he does not know her last name. He calls her Owen every single time. And it just sticks out in my head.
He might be doing that intentionally. You never know.
Could be, but kind of drives me nuts. But he has a pretty good set here.
And it's true because Candace had a dream about it. All of Candace's dreams come true, especially the dream she had when she was a little girl about one day becoming the biggest grifter the internet has ever seen.
Kaboom.
Yep. And listen to the crowd.
Yep.
They're on board.
But there is a glimmer of hope. After a conversation that she had with Erica Kirk, Candace Owens has promised to be 3% less completely retarded. But we must give Candace credit. She's not afraid to ask the important questions like, does Emmanuel Macron's elderly wife have a penis? No other journalist has been so fearlessly laser-focused on world leaders' possible wives' penises. I hate to break it to Candace, but the only person interested in the genitals of Brigitte Macron is Candace Owen. Even her husband, Emmanuel Macron, isn't interested in Brigitte Macron's genitals and hasn't been since he was at least 14 years old.
Wow. Shots fired indeed, the dead man.
So, yeah, Rob.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Pretty good. The Labor Review for $5 says, I'm late to the party, but did you see that Georgia admitted that 315,000 ballots in the 2020 election were illegally certified? Clean election. Am I right? Yes, we talked about it pretty close to the beginning of the show. But it is interesting.
But it's the freest and fairest election we've ever had in the history of mankind, guys. I mean, come on. That means nothing.
And even though we all knew it, we weren't allowed to say it because we'd get removed.
Yep.
Let's see, which one should we do next? I guess we'll go into Megan.
I'm not their daddy. And I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you. So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the.
There's the first swipe. Nobody even knew who he was before I platformed him.
Fox News Channel.
She's not necessarily
wrong
about that.
Right, but it's more what she says throughout the rest of her little rebuttal.
I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot.
There's the one that I think is just low.
I mean, it's true. The Daily Wire's mismanaged into a shithole. I mean, but that isn't necessarily
True,
look,
but this isn't arguing back against what he said. It's basically saying, well, you're just losing subscribers, so
I would say that it's a perfectly reasonable point to say that the person making the point is not speaking to the audience that's growing. I agree with most of what Shapiro said, but I don't find any of her points to be not accurate.
I'm not
Daily
saying they're not
Wire-
accurate. I'm saying it's not answering what he said. Why do you keep standing up for Candace Owens? If her answer is, well, we used to be friends and you've got a small audience now.
Can we also
It's very
maybe,
childish.
Can we also be honest about the fact that the Daily Wire rubbed people the wrong way for a decade, and maybe they're dealing with the repercussions of the way they operated?
Sure. But I don't think that's what this was about.
I think this is 100% about the Daily Wire's operations and how they ran things. Everybody,
Okay, what I think it's about is the fact that Ben took a swipe at her and now she's taking a swipe back. That's what I think this is about.
Well, and I don't know if you remember what happened when they were on tour earlier, like a month or two ago.
No, I
Ben
don't.
flat out said while they were talking on the tour the night that he was on, yeah, Candace has been calling out Turning Point and Erica Kirk. And Megan was like, well, I don't know Candace. I'm not friends with her. I don't watch her stuff. But I can't believe she would say something like that. And it was like, yeah, she's flat out said it multiple times.
Yeah.
And basically called Ben a liar to his face about it. Because she came out the next night and said, I had all my team do some fact checking on that, and she has never stated that. Candace Owens has never said that. It's like
earlier, later, earlier, later.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, just grow a spine and denounce it. You don't have to try to be friends with everybody. And Candace is not somebody I think you would really want to be associated with protecting.
And so I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And thank you. And when it was over, we hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship, and I think that's fine with me, with friends like that.
So I don't see any of that part about being about defending Candace as much as being pissed about how Shapiro did things.
Right. But it's basically just name calling back and forth rather than addressing the situation that has gotten us into this.
But why? She's not.
Megan's
mad
the one
about
who came out at the beginning of the week and said, I brokered the peace between Erica and Candace. She inserted herself into it.
If Shapiro calls out Megyn Kelly, I don't have a problem with Megyn Kelly being mad at Shapiro.
I don't have a problem with Megyn Kelly being mad with Shapiro.
That's all it was right
I would
there.
like this to be addressed on why she thinks Candace is so special.
Well, okay.
That we cannot
but none
say
of that
anything
was,
about her.
No. She never was going. She didn't. Her problem clear. You have to understand how people work, Brahma. She wasn't mad. And she was to her. It was nothing about the Candace stuff. It was the fact that she's friends with Shapiro, and Shapiro came out and called her like a coward.
Yeah,
and all this other stuff. So she's mad at Shapiro because in her mind, she's always tried going out of her way. She brought up the part about letting him on her show. She's talking about going on tour with him. By the way, when her audience is growing in the Daily Wires isn't, so she's effectively providing cover to Ben Shapiro with her element of the conservative audience that he's okay to listen to, and he comes out and throws her under the bus. It's human psychology that she's not it has nothing to do with Candace at this point. It's the fact that Shapiro, who said that their friendship was important. As she, like, people tell you right what what it's really about when they're talking, right? Her thing at the end where he after that thing when they were on tour, they have a text exchange about how their friendship's important. To her, it's just that he came out and then personally attacked her, called her a coward. She thinks that he knifed her in the back and that he didn't value their friendship when he could have criticized her without because that was the lead up, right? We had an argument about Tucker Carlson being excommunicated, and we were fine after that. Why is he knifing me in the back over the Candace thing? He could have still disagreed with me without calling me a coward, right? Like
She
this
called
is
him
what
a
it's
liar
about.
the next night after his thing with her.
Because she's pissed off. She's responding. Haven't you watched Trump be a counterpuncher for a decade?
No, I'm saying when he said to her on her tour, this is what Candace has been doing. And then the next night she said, I had my team fact check it and Ben was lying. So she's throwing the first jab there. He didn't do anything to her until he said, she's not admitting that Candace is lying, and it's disgusting to attack Erica Kirk, a grieving widow. My thing is, I find the whole thing disgusting. I think everything that happened at AMFEST, as far as all of this crap that I'm showing you, was fucking ridiculous.
Well, I agree.
Everything
it's
about
basically
it.
Festivus, and the grievances that he should have just addressed it with her privately.
I think AMFEST with Charlie was to prepare us for the next year, bring everybody together, end the year on a good note, get ready for the next thing. What are we going to do to get more students? What are we going to do to open up more turn point chapters? And it just turned into an absolute shit show.
Well,
year.
and the left
I
is going
think
to jump all
it's
over this.
disgusting that 3 months later, this is what we've already come to.
Yeah, the left is going to jump all over this. They're going to use it. The Republicans are falling apart. America First is falling apart. Turning Point's falling apart. That's what they're going to say.
This is also not new in the realm of human psychology post-assassination. After Martin Luther King dies, there's a whole, you could argue that it went on continuously for decades over the fight to be the heir of Martin Luther King.
Right.
Whether that was Reverend Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or any of the other people that were rising up, it still went on. There's still people fighting to be his heir, right? And the movement within those movements, those people had a lot of disagreements and fought a lot of dirty fights. After Malcolm X was assassinated within the Nation of Islam, there were a lot of people who rightly pointed out that Louis Farrakhan may have had a role in the situation and then suddenly became the heir to the leadership's role, structure of the Nation of Islam. When people who are large scale political figures get assassinated, it is routine at least in American history for there to be a nasty, not nice fight over the people trying to take over the garb of power that person had. We may not like it. We have to acknowledge the fact that it has happened before. It's what is the Battlestar Galactica line? This has all happened before, and it'll happen again.
And it'll happen again.
And again. It's just in our nature for it to, until AI gets self-aware and replaces us and yeets us off the map, and then AI will probably do the same thing to itself. You're going to have situations where this occurs. It's only been 3 months.
3 months and 11 days.
So we're still
feels like forever, dude.
And it feels like a year or two already.
Yeah.
We're still in the acute phase of this fight for power. And in the modern multimedia environment, we have more people trying to take little pieces than ever before. We've got, in this case, we've got the Fuentes, we got Tucker, we got Megan, we got Daily Wire. I'm not going to cast aspersions on Ben Shapiro. He's not my favorite person. He's sometimes effective and sometimes he's not. but him jumping right into the fray to be the person taking over a lot of the tour stops for Turning Point when Shapiro was not as, I should say, definitely, in my opinion, in my experience, not as popular with the rank and file TP USA people as others may have been. Seemed like he was trying to be opportunistic to try to steer things towards the Daily Wire. I think they all are trying to get their own little pieces of this for their own little reasons. And the only person who's completely black-hearted with no redemption arc to me is Candace Owens.
Right.
Everyone else, I
Yeah.
think, is working, rationally, maybe from a different skew point of view than what Charlie had, but seem, at least they're working from good intentions. Like Tucker, I think even though he's gone a lot off the deep end on some of the Israeli stuff, I think he worked that way up to that from a place of good intentions and went a little far off the deep end. I think that Megyn Kelly has been working her redemption arc ever since the Trump debate, and she's feeling a lot more free about things and has kind of gone off a little deep end there. Everybody has their own agendas in this, and I don't like that any of them are doing that. Now, at least when Charlie was there, he was invited. Everyone knew who was in charge of Turning Point, right?
100%.
Everybody was being invited by Charlie. They were speaking their perspective, but they all knew, like, now they're all going to Turning Point trying to now.
There's no glue left.
Well, no,
America is not glue.
No, Eric is not. And I more power to her. She's, again, a grieving widow going through one of the most horrible situations anybody could. She is not Charlie, and she never will be. And she needs to step back, and maybe she can do a behind the scenes role. She doesn't have, I don't
The
want
only
to
reason she's really been out front was because she said he had the book coming out. He had all these commitments already made, and I said we were going to honor every commitment that he had made. So that's why she's been out front lately.
And that's fine.
Don't know what the next year brings.
Yeah, for Turning Point to really survive effectively, they need to get people who are really invested. Like, the Turning Point needs to end up becoming, because Charlie did two things super effective, and he was one man doing it. And I don't know that you can have one man doing these two things, which was managing the best get out the vote operation in the country, and also being the ambassador to college campuses and going out there and working that. I think they need to focus on finding, and this is, again, it's probably going to be a unique talent that nobody sees on the map right now. They need to have two different people, or Turning Point needs to focus to be a get out the vote operation. That might be Scott Pressler. Maybe somebody like Pressler moves into an executive director role, working, on the get out, trying to manage get out the vote operation. Somebody who has on the ground experience and working that. And then they work and they get another person or other people who are not carrying the baggage. And this is where it's important. I don't, as much as we like some of these other guys, the Shapiros, the Tuckers, and all the rest, they carry a lot of baggage, lots of baggage. Charlie Kirk, when he started, isn't that person, right? He's kind of, like, he worked his way up,
built it from the ground up at 18,
and built it from, so work on, like, look at your bench. Who do you have in the college ranks who's got some of that savvy, who can go out there and talk? Now it's going to be hard. Charlie Kirk had like a friggin' Rain Man like recall of biblical and constitutional references to be able to do these things. But
and I'm not saying it's not human nature, and I'm not saying I dislike these people and would never watch them again. What I'm saying is this was freaking disgusting at AMFEST. I'm just fed up with what's gone on since he died.
Yeah, and I know that some people are talking about they're turning into AMFEST or these other things when Eric is on, and that's good. She's got fans. I don't know that anybody
He's
who's
just
being
saying that because Eric is hot, is what he was getting at.
Okay, well, I was going to
So
say
hot,
I was like being objective. She doesn't have any of the.
She's not an excellent speaker.
She's not.
She's been very strong in the speeches she's given, considering what happened.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Dead Man for $19.99. Thank you, sir. Here's what I hate. The left predicted a MAGA civil war, and these people are feeding into it. They're destroying the coalition that Trump built. We need to stay strong and hold the line. Do not let the crazies win. I would say it was the coalition that Trump and Charlie built, and Charlie turns out it was the glue.
And we also have it wasn't just Charlie as a vector of attack too. I hate to keep bringing up how much of an obnoxious piece of shit Thomas Massie actually is, but he is a prime vector of cleavage on the MAGA base, right? He has been nothing but a thorn, constantly, seemingly try him and then Marjorie Taylor Greene went off her menopause deep end. I don't know what is going on with her. She
got scorned by Trump when she wanted a statewide office, and she was told your poll numbers don't work on a statewide office.
Yeah, she was anyway. So they are also an internal vector of attack against Trump. People are always like, why is Trump going after somebody like Thomas Massie and listening to somebody like Lindsey Graham? Trump would listen to Thomas Massie if he would fucking play for the team when Trump needed it.
Yeah, he'll vote for every continuing resolution under Biden and then try to hold up anything that's under a Republican Congress. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the reason Trump listens to somebody like Lindsey Graham every now and then is because when Trump needs a vote in the Senate, guess who shows up and votes for Trump's stuff? Lindsey Graham does. When Trump needs a vote in the House, where the majority is only like 3 congressmen right now, guess who constantly votes with the
Democrats? With MTG stepping down in January?
Well, she's still there right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. So, even though Trump needs every single vote, guess who always votes with the Democrats? Thomas Massie. Guess who's constantly going out there doing discharge petitions for stupid shit going after Trump? Thomas Massie. If you don't,
going into, we're about to have another government shutdown.
Yep.
I mean, it's likely to happen over healthcare, and Massie will not be on board with Trump yet again.
Or Rand Paul on the Senate side.
Paul as well,
who wouldn't even vote for the Republican, give the money to the individual taxpayer instead of the insurance company plan.
Yeah. And by the way, I did talk with my daughter yesterday. They received their military check for $1,776.
That's good.
Trump followed through.
Well, yeah, everybody got that. They were pissed about it.
I know. There was, even in the military, there were people, because of like the tariff and the Doge, things where, Doge, you might be getting a $5,000 check, or the tariffs, we might give $2,000 to everybody. Some of the military people were still questioning. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, we've seen it.
You know what I believe today?
I'm glad to hear it.
I went to get gas and it was $2 a gallon.
We're at like $1.97.
I know, which is
I love that California is still at $8 going, that's a lie. It's like, no, you're in freaking California.
I think it's funny that you guys have lower gas than Texas right now, because we have, it's like 2.
Because you've got the refineries.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's like $2.30 something a gallon right now.
Yeah. Well, before we get too far away from it, let's go listen to J.D. Vance and what he said in his speech, which I think I agree with Chad. It was probably the strongest speech, but I think there was a specific line in there that I believe excludes some people.
Side of you, I mean all of you, each and every one. President Trump did not build the greatest coalition in politics by running his supporters through endless, self-defeating purity tests. He says, make America great again, because every American is invited. We don't care if you're white or black. rich or poor, young or old, rural or urban, controversial or a little bit boring, or somewhere in between. People
I think we fall in a little bit boring.
of every faith come to our banner because they know that the America First movement will make their lives better, and they also know that the Democrats don't care about anything other than maybe transing their kids. So if you love America, if you want all of us to be richer, stronger, safer, and prouder, you have a home on this team. I didn't bring a list of conservatives to denounce or to deplatform, and I don't really care if some people out there, I'm sure we'll have the fake news media, denounce me after this speech.
That's where I think he did the politician thing a little bit, and I don't fault him for it, and I actually like that he did it, because when he says I did not bring a list of conservatives to denounce or deplatform, that's where I'm getting into, I don't think Nick Fuentes is a conservative. I don't think Candace Owens is a conservative. I think that's his wiggle room out of it as a politician, which he is a politician, let's be honest about it. He's got his wiggle room there to, no, I'm not saying we need Nick Fuentes if he had to.
Well, Nick Fuentes, first off, if you just listen to the guy speak, you know he's
a
not
national
conservative.
socialist.
Yeah, he's a national socialist.
But I think that's
I thought
where,
you were going to say if you listen to the guy speak, you'd realize he's gay.
I mean, well,
that too.
That too, I suppose.
Although I did not agree with Piers Morgan calling him out, telling him he should go get laid.
No,
I know.
Milo's not around anymore.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said Milo doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. But
Allegedly.
I don't think if somebody is claiming to be, and I don't believe that Nick Fuentes is a Christian, but if he's claiming to be a virgin, I don't think you mock him on that point. I don't think that's a point of mockery.
No, I mean he's
that we
Catholic.
bring back.
So
He says so.
I mean, yeah, that's what he says. But yeah, whatever.
Yep. But that's where I think JD's. I just wanted to point out that he specifically uses language there of conservative. You're welcome.
But let me just say, the best way to honor Charlie is that none of us here should be doing something after Charlie's death that he himself refused to do in life. He invited all of us here.
Except Charlie very specifically said, never, ever would he be platforming Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, well, he legit hated Nick Fuentes.
Yes.
Charlie invited all of us here for a reason, because he believed that each of us, all of us, had something worth saying, and he trusted all of you to make your own judgment. And we have far more...
Nope, it cut off. I guess that's what we get out of the J.D. Vance speech. So I think he did do a good job. And there have been some people after this that have said, don't know that JD's the guy. And it's like, I think everybody agrees that JD's the guy at this point. I think even Marco Rubio said, you know, if it comes down, well, I take that back. It wasn't a whole bunch of people. I think it was Rand Paul is who I specifically heard say, JD's not the guy. JD can't bring this coalition together. And it's like, you're Rand Paul.
It says Rand Paul.
And he was going with, well, Marco Rubio would be better. Marco's great. But even Marco Rubio said, if JD throws his hat in the ring, I'm right there behind him. I'm not even going to run. I will support JD Vance. So that was JD's speech. You said that you thought that was the most effective speech
I do.
that you saw, right?
I think he was the most acceptable, most successful in being kind of what would it be the old George W. He's a uniter, not a divider.
Right. Do you agree with me on his wording?
I don't.
Or do you not look
No.
into it that deep?
I don't think he even thought about it that deeply. Honestly, I don't think he was nuancing his words to give himself wiggle room to attack Nick Fuentes. I think to him, Nick Fuentes is not even worth thinking
Time
about
of day.
that way. Like Nick Fuentes doesn't count as any rational person's like person. So I wouldn't worry. Yeah, I just don't think he even cares about Fuentes. Like I think there was the other part later when he was talking about someone making fun of Usha.
Right.
And he was like, they can kiss, like they can all go to hell. I think he used some more choice language about that, if I remember. I know Jeremy had posted about it on X.
Hamley?
No, D-Day.
Cobra. D-Day Cobra. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, while you're looking for that, let me get this real quick. Eric K celebrates 4 months of membership. Valero, Chevron are pulling out of California. California has shut down most oil wells and is shutting down all refineries. 2030, no gas care will be sold.
Oh yeah, Valero they basically walked away from a $1 billion refinery, the only refinery left in California. They just shut it down. They're leaving.
God, they're so fucked.
The mandates coming in starting next year to make it operational according to California rules were going to be so onerous and expensive. Valero was just like, fuck off, we're out. And now Newsom is like, oh shit. Because that old refinery represented, I think, about a third of California's fuel supply.
Yeah, you got to bring it in from Texas now.
Yep.
Right?
So now they've got to import it.
Now they're relying on us.
They're reliant on Texas.
Yeah, weren't they like doing a bunch of like weird emissions things that was going to make it very difficult for Texas truck drivers to go into California?
Yeah,
did they rescind that shit?
Well, luckily, California will just give licenses and CDLs to everybody.
Yes, after the federal government has revoked all those CDLs they gave out, California said, screw you, and is reissuing 15,000 of those licenses.
Oh my God, it's so fucking stupid.
Tox comes in celebrating 5 months of membership, 5 months of support, and there was much rejoicing. Indeed. There was. Tox also with a $5 super chat. Do not support this sock shoe fascist. So we got into an argument Thursday night because Tox in his freaking weird libertarian ways is like, no, it goes sock, shoe. And no, it doesn't. It's sock, shoe. That's how you put your clothes on.
Who doesn't do it that way?
Apparently Tox.
I mean, I guess some people stand outside the fire. Good for them.
The Dead Man for $4.99. Here's your off-topic comment. Brahma is obviously Picard, Chad is Data, and Comix is Worf.
I'm okay with that.
I don't like cats.
Yes, but you constantly are spouting off Data.
Okay.
Remember, we wind you up and just let you go whenever we find the topic that we can get you going on.
And Brahma just kind of kicks back and
that's when I take my break and smoke.
Yeah. I've been also this week, I know this is a little off topic, but I have been enjoying seeing Australia speed run into their civilizational self-destruction as well.
I haven't seen anything since Bondi Beach.
Well, their prime minister came out and basically said, we're not going to tolerate hate speech.
Yep.
We're going to make all these laws and send people that, have hate speech to jail.
Are they going the way that I predicted of, bolt action rifles.
Oh yeah, no,
They can
they're-
apparently kill people, and so can shotguns. So we're gonna need to take those too.
Yeah, they've immediately they're
Suck
going
the person that did.
they're going to
Okay.
make it mandatory to review the gun licenses that have already been issued to basically age them out. They're going to start restricting the number of long guns you can have under your.
So
gun
they are
licenses.
going right back to
Here,
what we thought they would.
I got something right here. I'll
the
share.
guns aren't the guns are the problem. Not
I did
the,
find the quote, by the way. JD Vance regarding Nick Fuentes says, "Let me be clear: anyone who attacks my wife, whether their name is Jen Psaki or Nick Fuentes, can eat shit. That's my official policy as Vice President of the United States."
Real quick before we bring up Comix's screen, Toxic Man flew for $10 more. Some people are individuals and do sock shoe. The rest of you like to gobble dong.
Some people like to do shoe, sock, as was pointed out, I think, by the dead man.
I mean, really, if you're doing sock, shoe, you're bending over more often, so that's putting yourself in a.
I bet he puts his pants on after he puts his shoes on too.
Does he do pants like both legs at the same time too?
Yes.
Like
He literally jumps into his pants.
that's
Yeah,
so
put both legs in and then jump off the bed.
Yeah.
gay. By the way, what have I always said about what happens with anybody who's a libertarian? What does it always end up boiling down to when someone says they're a libertarian with politics?
How you get dressed?
Yeah,
On your
it's
feet?
like they end up talking about being able to be naked in public and do things with minors.
Drugs.
Yeah, drugs, minors, and nudity in public are all like that effectively becomes the libertarian official policy positions. It's like no.
Well, I also want to point out in Toxic's defense, he's a civil libertarian, not a libertarian.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot one of the most fun clips. Just
Nicki Minaj.
No, I didn't grab
When
the Nicki
Candace Owens
Minaj
says-
clip because I didn't really particularly care for her speech. It got a little bit girl bossy. Us ladies can do anything. So this was Candace responding to Ben's speech. She was not happy because she does not like it when anybody calls her out
People
on
watch
anything.
her eyes. Let's see where her eyes are moving.
When Candace Owens says, "I don't know, but I know," that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. So, yeah, I don't have to say we don't know when it
More
comes
high
to
school,
you.
middle school talk.
You are
Yep.
such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability
It's
to believe
also
that you can keep
pause it real
manipulating the
quick.
markets.
You got to remember who their audiences are, right? Candace's audience tends to be more
Wine
female,
moms and true
wine
crime.
moms and true crime. They're into the high school stuff.
Yep.
They like them. They, after they watch Candace Owens' podcast, they go and watch Real Housewives, and they go and watch Love Island, and they go and watch true crime about murdering people. I mean, this is what they're like. Sometimes you're playing to your audience, right? You know who your numbers are. There was somebody I saw on X who was commentus and make headway with your audience is understanding it's more akin to trying to deprogram a cult member than it is.
Well, that's what Keri's been saying.
yeah.
Yep.
Than it is.
Colin was a
trying to-
candy club.
Bucks. I have put on my pants post sock shoe on several occasions. Depends on the pants. And I sit to put on my socks and shoes without bending over. I cross my legs like a lady, one at a time, just in case I go to prison.
I noticed you added the lady part. I'm intrigued.
I have
Can
been
we-
known to put my pants on after my shoes if it's like sweatpants.
What?
Or shorts. I mean,
Why in the hell would you do that? Then you get like the tread of your shoe all up inside your pants.
Because I'm typically wearing shorts, and then I decide, I'd like some sweatpants on over my shorts
do
because
you own a pair of
it's getting colder.
Crocs?
No. Hell no.
I bet.
Actually, almost everything I own comes from Costco, clothes-wise.
I'm gonna go
literally
out on a limb.
almost everything except for my Avs jersey and my smoking jacket.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Tox has multiple pairs of Crocs.
I don't think I've
I'm
ever
trying
seen
to
him
remember
in
if he
Crocs.
actually-
Sandals maybe, but I don't.
Yeah,
think
sandals. I don't think
Crocs.
Crocs though.
Because someone who's doing sock shoe is clearly wearing.
But he also
something
does
gay like
sock
Crocs.
sandal, sock sandal.
He wears sandal. Wait, no. He's one
I
of the
don't
people
know.
who wears socks
I've
with his
never paid
sandals.
attention to his feet.
Oh.
I'm not gay. I don't look at men's feet.
Not your kink.
Yeah,
He doesn't look at their feet, just looks at their asses.
right.
You know those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point.
You know how many of those people booed him on that stage? Did you
that-
hear a
that
whole
would
bunch
be-
of booing during the Ben Shapiro speech?
No, that was no booing whatsoever.
And this next line is even more asinine.
The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people.
Do you think any of the Turning Point USA people are talking to this bitch at this point?
No,
Yes.
I don't.
No, I guarantee you there's people actually still messaging her. Because there are people who are. There's always people who have axes to grind and are being dicks like that. There's somebody who doesn't like the way somebody talked with them, and so that now, do I believe that what Candace is saying
Any of
she's getting
Turning
messages?
Point USA's leadership is who I would think that she would be in contact with, and I don't believe that any of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound guy, maybe. All right.
What is happening? Why is he on this stage standing against everything that Charlie believed in? That's what you're doing. You're standing against everything that Charlie believed in because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you for that very reason.
I'm pretty sure the last guest that Charlie Kirk had on his show on September 9th was Ben Shapiro.
Hold on a second. I've now come up with a meme thing in my head that is going to be hilarious. Do you get the scene from the original Star Wars? You have Ben Shapiro's face on Luke walking into the bar, and then you put Candace's face on and
3PO?
and Tucker's face on the one guy, and have Candace's face over the I don't like you, and my friend doesn't like
doesn't
you either.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna do "We don't serve their kind" here or something like that.
No, and then Candace no, and then have Shapiro no, I guess I'll move on, and Candace be like, no, you'll be dead.
And
Well,
then an
if
arm
Robbie's
comes
in the
off.
chat, he can do that.
I don't
know,
think
it just-
Robbie watches this one.
Okay.
It just seems like it would fit fairly good for the level of discourse we're getting between them.
Yeah.
I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her? I'm gonna
Pause it real
sue
quick.
her.
Who else thinks that she's one sip of the wine jug there away from being and I heard you got a little dick? She's ready to just be completely high school about everything.
She's pretty close. But she goes full on into the Jew thing in this. Unmasking level of it. Dr. Jones comes in with $19.99. Merry Christmas. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir.
Did you
I hope
see,
you're feeling better.
Did you see Mod Eric K's? Did we do that one?
I may have missed that one. There it is. Moderate K for $1 on the Rumble side. What kind of animal does not put on socks first, then the shoes? We civilized people, not communist scum. And the battle begins. Unfortunately, it hasn't popped up back here yet, so I can't highlight it yet.
That's funny.
See, we're trying to end on a happy note this year.
Here you go for your Brahma.
Toxic Man Flu for $10 on the YouTube side. Crocs, I'm not gay. I also don't own sandals. I own several Sanuk flip-flops, but no socks on those. Also, is Candace the best grifter ever? Wait, I don't care. Candace is second only to Jeremy.
Yes.
I think Jeremy has even claimed that and has said it out loud many, many times.
Mm.
Why does it keep getting highlighted?
I don't
There.
know.
Yeah, I don't like. All right, so the idea of this is where I separate things. Like I give somebody like Jeremy, like I'm a grift. He's a YouTuber asking for super chats. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you think there's a problem with that, super chat Brahma right now so he can highlight it and discuss it on the stream.
I have been told we should promote ourselves a bit more.
I know, and if you want to help promote through via super chats or purchasing memberships, those are available. But so that's different. Like Candace, the true sign of a grifter is trying to pretend they're not grifting you. In a way, it's like it's like con men, right? Con men never come right out and tell you, "I'm conning you for your money," right? Like a real grifter, like Candace Owens, is like, "I'm just asking questions. I'm doing the work.
I'm just asking questions.
I'm just me and the mommy sleuths. We're just getting down. We're trying to find out the truth." You know, as
I know. Jeremy's not an actual grifter. He just makes a ton of super chats because he leans into it. It's the same as what Ricada did years ago, because Jeremy and Ricada are two of the top super chat. Well, Ricada was.
Yeah.
Jeremy now is.
I think the difference is I think we all know where Ricada's super chat money went, and I don't think that's happening for Jeremy.
No. Jeremy doesn't even drink.
Now, on the other
not
hand,
close.
on the other, I mean, Ricada was personally responsible for probably filling up one of those boats coming from Venezuela.
That's probably true.
Oh man, it's the Motley Crue effect. Some lot of a semi filled with cocaine. They're kind of like, what?
I'm just like Doctor. I was like, Ricada was a big fan of Doctor Feelgood. It's like, just like
Indeed.
leave it at that.
Yeah, Reverend Horton Heat, bales of cocaine.
Yeah, from a low flying plane.
Yep.
Her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. Because what you really believe in is
I hate whoever who
riff.
runs her
That's what-
podcast
that's-
as a producer with the cuts like in and out of close up to medium shot. It just, and it's designed to try to emphasize like her point. Like it's more dramatic if you have the cuts, but it's stupid and it annoys me because there's no change in tone. There's no like information reveal. If you're thinking of it in a real like cinematography standpoint, there's supposed to be meaning behind the cut to transmit like, you know, feeling and to go along with the information you're getting, or to create a real bond of intimacy within a scene. What they're trying to do is when you do the close up, it's, you know, it's more intimate. It's supposed to make it more, you're more vulnerable in that look. And again, this is all stuff designed to appeal to her female audience when she's offering no items of substance to back it up.
Yeah. The other Kitty has entered the chat. We've got the 2 female kitties now.
That's what your people believe in. You believe that you are contract lords.
Your
and
people.
that people are not allowed to violate contracts, or you will ruin them for years. You fire someone.
Okay, no.
Don't
people
most
should not-
people believe that
then,
if you
yeah,
violate a contract, it should be enforced?
It is a tenet of a capitalistic society that a contract is one of the highest forms of bond between people, right? If you are entering into an actual contract, you are agreeing with the force of legality against you to abide by the terms of the contract. The thing with Candace Owens is she is such an insufferable cunt that she will not abide. She, like, even when she has signed contracts, she will in no way abide by any terms of said contracts.
Actually, I do love the Jeremy Boring video that had come out in the past couple weeks that was like a year and a half old when she got fired, where he was explaining to the Daily Wire people, you know, part of the reason that she got fired.
Mm-hmm.
So after she did the thing with Kanye, where he went completely nuts and, Jew crazy, her lawyers actually put into the Daily Wire contract if she starts being anti-Semitic or saying anything against the Jews, you're allowed to fire her. It was her lawyers who put that into the contract, insisted on it being in there.
Well, that was because they knew that was going to be that was supposed to be the like, look, we are rational people. We want you to feel comfortable, because when you're agreeing to a contract, you are marrying that person. Like, you are agreeing to pay them a lot of money, to put a lot of effort into them.
Yes.
So sometimes you will get, if you're doing it, for most part, most people might be familiar with what's called a non-compete clause, right?
Right.
Most of the time,
she's
the way
probably slapped with a non-compete and an NDA.
Yeah, the most of the time you do that by putting in a contract that to make you feel in good faith, giving me this job, and supporting me and giving me all the money and income, I will agree to not compete directly against you within a certain zone, territory, or time frame. So in this case with Candace, her lawyers knew that there was some people who were pointing out to the Daily Wire, who, by the way, at the time, and I believe still currently, it had a predominantly Jewish investment group and ownership structure and directors. And so, to make them feel comfortable supporting Candace Owens as their employee, her lawyer said, look, here's what we'll give you. We see, like,
I just find it hilarious that that's what got thrown in there by her lawyers, and that's what ended up biting her.
Because the rational point of view of the lawyers is, look, she'd have to be retarded to do this.
You'd
because
have to be
it
a
would
complete idiot to do this.
Because it would void her contract. So clearly she's not going to do it. And the Daily Wire, thinking that somebody they were negotiating with was a rational human, would say, you're right. This is so clear and easy for us to fire her for cause.
It turns out it was Candace Owens, not a rational human being.
Exactly. Looks like
I just had to bring that up because that was one of the funniest portions of Jeremy Boring's. Well, she has taken it a bit too far, and oddly enough, it was her lawyers that said, yes, she can be fired if she goes anti-Semitic. And then she goes full anti-Semitic. So, yes, Tox, I know if you star it, it brings it up again in the displayed chat. But I wasn't sure how quickly I'd be able to get to it. All right. Eric K for $2. The Fig wears Crocs. They are gay. I believe he's talking about Toxic Man Flu again. And Toxic Man Flu for $5. See, Eric is a butt-humping Cali commie. Hate speech talking, meat loving, sock shoe cult robot. But I still love him, no homo.
Except
homo.
There's lots of homo coming from Toxic
Extreme
Man
homo. All right, let's get through this.
Effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off.
In the influencer game, is anybody actually stalking if you're just bringing up clips of another influencer and commenting on them? I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it stalking. I would say that's kind of what influencers do.
That's a YouTube method du jour. That's a reaction video.
Yes.
It's like,
I mean, it's what we're doing right now, and it's not stalking Candace. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the definition of cyber stalking is when you're following somebody like around like to various forums that you're on and whatnot to see what they're saying.
I would say even more so, it's like when you're telling your whole chat, hey, Keri Smith I clipped Keri Smith and made comments about her. Now you should all go onto her Facebook page and YouTube page and make multiple comments about how horrible she is. Which is not what we do about Candace.
No.
We're just calling her an idiot. I don't need any of you to go do anything to Candace.
Yeah.
We all know she's an idiot. Tox for $5. Our hate for Crocs is common ground. At Eric K. We can live in peace. All right. Fight resolved.
Of the mother effing plantation, truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to.
Candace is speaking on behalf of the world now.
Oh, wow.
Well, at least a Middle Eastern zone of it.
I get applauded.
Oh,
by
nothing on that.
Constantine
That was
Kissin
so. That was good.
and Andrew.
The Middle Eastern, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, she sounds like it's straight out of the the Palestinian.
Sorry, it's very hard to
K
tell
through
when you're
12.
making a joke.
I mean, is it a joke or is it just the truth?
It's the truth.
I know you're going to get applauded by Constantine Kissin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin.
The Christ is King gets thrown in there because isn't Clavin a Jew as well?
His son isn't. His son's Catholic, or I think.
My son's also gay.
But I'm being, I think he's also Catholic.
I thought Clavin was Jewish. Maybe not.
I think he may have been.
Yeah, I think he's now Catholic, but yeah. But that's her code words for, I mean, we've seen it for almost a year now, maybe longer. Saying Christ is King if you're Fuentes or Candace Owens is basically just anti-Semitic, using God's name in vain.
And all of the people, the men, who have to
Kithe
keep
says
applauding
Clavin
what
isn't
you
Jewish.
do, like you're
Okay.
a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew.
I mean, it's obnoxious that I'm not allowed to listen to him on 2 times speed because I can't understand him. But I wouldn't say he's inherently obnoxious.
And I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them.
So she's
What?
now gone
Wait.
into the full racist.
Hold on a second. That's effectively, she's saying the Old Testament somehow has a part of it that says if you're Jewish, you can own black people.
That's what she's getting at, yes.
I've read the Bible. I think, Brahma, you've read the Bible, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty
not
sure even
that-
Comix has read a
Yeah.
good portion of the Bible. Even
I know. I mean, specifically, there are parts within the
I
Bible that account for the fact that historically slavery was a common practice and was in practice amongst all the cultures of the time. I don't recall the part where it said specifically that they could own a slave from Africa, or if this is allowed. I think it was just slaves in general, right?
So is the Talmud the same as the Torah? Is being a Talmudic Jew?
No,
the same
Talmud.
as-
I think the Talmud's different. The Torah is the Old Testament.
because the Torah is the Old Testament. She's
I'm
saying
trying.
he's
I'm trying
Talmudic.
to. It's been a while. I don't remember.
Oh, well, let's see. I'm on Torah Mates, Judaism 101. What's the difference between the Torah and the Talmud? The Torah,
Okay, the Talmud is a foundational text of Judaism. Vast collection of rabbinic discussions, laws, ethics. Oh, that's right. It's Jewish law. Talmud is Jewish law.
Okay.
So
it's
The
as the Constitution is to the
it's
what
like the Federalist Papers.
the Federalist
Yeah.
Papers.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the Jewish Federalist Papers for the Old Testament.
Just a lot older. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what's in the Talmud then, because I'm not Jewish and not into rabbinical law. I believe in the Old Testament. Okay.
There you go.
I still don't know.
By the
that
way,
she's
I'm not trusting
crazy.
Candace Owens' interpretation of any
Yeah,
of this shit.
I'm still not going to go with Candace is not crazy here.
Kid
Have
to
a
Candace
right-
Owens is about to be like, I've read a book by a man named A.H. and it totally exposed all of the problems with Ben Shapiro's people. It was written in Germany in the 1930s. It's a read that all of you should check out.
Is it called My Struggle?
That's going to be Candace's next podcast. It's going to be like My Struggle with the Daily Wire. I just
Yep.
need living space.
They
Operation
have a right
Barbarossa
to
is underway.
own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right
You know,
to lie
ever
to
since
us,
earlier in
that
the
they have
chat,
a
Randall Orser said that her hair and that top make it look like she's wearing like a hijab. I can't.
I was
not
thinking the
see
same
it.
thing too.
I know. Lots of people have said that. There were comments on the video that it looks like she's wearing a hijab.
right to sue us and
I don't know that even in the Talmud, even though I don't know it specifically, that anywhere in the Jewish or the Hebrew religions that there would be anything about you have a right to be worshipped. Because she just made that claim too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think you need the Talmud to tell you that if you have a contract with someone and they violate that contract, that you're allowed to sue them to seek recourse
Yeah.
for the breach of contract. That's not something, by the way, Candace, you need the Talmud for. That's called, contract law. It's a civil tort, breach of contract.
us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye.
Caring for Charlie Kirk sure looks like caring for his family and his wife from attacks like this crazy bitch.
Yep.
I mean, I know she's speaking to her audience, but does she not hear herself? Talk says, for $2, if she breaks out into Billie Jean, I'll choke. And I could have sworn there was another one back there.
He
but
did.
I can't
He had
find
another
it.
one.
Yeah, I can't find it. It disappeared from me.
It's weird. Let's see if I can find it.
Like, it completely disappeared. The other one that I see from him before that is
okay.
Hate for Crocs.
Is it racist that every time I see Candace, I expect her to
There it
break
is.
out into full Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal song and dance? Yeah.
I don't think it's racist. It's just kind of maybe.
Funny, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's get through this stupid
And
clip.
yet, when Charlie Kirk was alive and he saw Candace, the only song that would start playing is Billie Jean.
Yes, Kitty, we talked about this last week with Keri Smith. She uses very cult-like language. I think I talked about it a little bit last night on Zax's channel on my outro, but she is very cultish. Everything is we.
Yep.
And the whole world and everybody hates you.
Goodbye. Question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. One of these belly creatures, sliver on. Question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
So that was Candace's answer. I like how she dehumanized him at the end and said that he slithers on his belly.
Like a snake?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she was going with.
Yes. You know who else dehumanized people quite often?
Yeah.
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 Eric Myers, member for 13 months, over a year. Merry Christmas to the Bullpen. Hope everyone has a great holiday. Thanks for the hangout, and I hope next year brings continued success. Thank you very much, Eric.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas indeed. And Toxic Man Flu gifts 5 memberships to the bullpen. Dr. Michael Jones, Rhaegar, the Dead Man, GJ Jensen, and Vigil. Thank you very much, Tox. I know you had an out about 15 minutes ago.
Yes, I do. I would like to play this clip from Australia since we were talking about it previously, and then I'll bounce after that.
Completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine. I forgot about it too.
I was trying to wrap up the whole AMFEST thing.
I get that. So I believe this is the speech. But yeah, let's just listen to one. This I believe the Prime Minister of Australia.
Today, I'm also announcing that the government will establish a national gun buyback scheme to purchase surplus, newly banned and illegal firearms, the largest buyback since the Howard government initiated one in 1996. Australia's gun laws were last substantially reformed in the wake of the Port Arthur tragedy. The terrible events at Bondi show we need to get more guns off our streets. We know that one of these terrorists held a firearm licence and had 6 guns, in spite of living in the middle of Sydney suburbs there at Bonnyrigg. There's no reason why someone in that situation needed that many guns.
Fuck off.
There are now more than 4 million firearms in Australia, more than at the time of the Port Arthur massacre, nearly 30 years ago. The government will introduce legislation to support the funding of this buyback scheme and meet the costs on a 50-50 basis with states and territories. We expect hundreds of thousands of firearms will be collected and destroyed through this scheme. Consistent with the approach that was taken in 1996, the government is proposing that states and territories will be responsible for the collection, processing and payment to individuals.
One of my favorite things, whether it's British or Australia, is that they're just outright when they call government operations schemes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of my favorite parts about their system because it's just so appropriate. This is the newest government scheme. It's like,
well, it's a new scheme to disarm the population. And
I know, but I just like that they actually just outright call it a scheme. And in the connotation of American English, it's, a scheme is not something that's
positive.
Good. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, the other thing too is what is completely stupid about this is that, okay, so beforehand, the guy didn't break any laws. He has 6 guns, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's 6 guns too many." Yeah, and if there was actually an armed civilian there, they could have very much.
Well, it's worse than that. So
also beforehand, they knew that he was associated with ISIS.
Yeah,
and so they let him have a fucking license.
They let him into the country. They let him have the license.
Yeah,
I mean, it's failure at the government level.
Yeah, it's
completely
hands down government failure, and this we talk about the whole thing with government, being the root cause for a lot of this shit. This is another example of that. And one thing that we found out recently in the United States is that apparently the FBI has been skewing numbers when it comes to civilians using firearms to stop a bad guy. They've been funneling those numbers into like police shootings rather than a good guy with a gun stopping.
So here's what I'm going to get at with this one, like dovetailing off your point about no civilian. The cops who were at the scene were cowering.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a civilian, a woman, who went over and was trying to take the gun from one of the cops so she could actually
because
shoot.
She got separated from her daughter.
Yeah. So she was going to take the gun and actually go and confront. Now, here's the thing. A handgun against a long gun, if you're moving like behind cover, is actually going to be fairly effective, especially, because you're going to be able to do your rate of fire is much higher.
Mm-hmm.
And they fought her off and we're going to basically arrest her instead of trying to, like, these are trained police and they are cowering and not confronting
They weren't all cowering. Some of them had their hands up. We
Don't
have pictures
shoot
of
me.
it.
Yeah. It's I mean, and these people have no business being police officers. We talked about the whole thing here in Texas too on Thursday. And those cops that basically did nothing at that school shooting also have no business being cops. Yeah, Uvalde. Yeah, but that unfortunately, this is not the clip I thought I had. But yeah, this plays into the gun thing that we're talking about earlier, and the fact that tragic shooting. Oh, let's take the guns. Let's take the guns from civilians that could have actually done stuff. Let's toughen the laws to ensure
that the balls to do something because the police did not.
Yes, the Syrian guy who disarmed one of them should have shot him, but probably didn't feel empowered to do so because if he did, he would be the one going to jail. So yeah, this is all fucking retarded. If you live in a country where you can get a concealed and carry license, get it. Buy a firearm, train, carry it with you, and that way, if you're ever, God forbid, in a situation like this, you have the capacity to respond. And that's the thing that pisses me off about the anti-gun people is that they're like, oh, well, if you're pro-gun, you're for pro-killing people. It's like, go fuck yourself. There's plenty of people in this country that own firearms that have not done anything of that sort. It's whole idea.
The large majority of people in this country that own guns have not done anything.
But they want to paint everyone who owns a firearm is pro-gun as some sort of rabid murderer or pro-child killer. Which is actually the left. But we won't get into that. It's fucking retarded, okay? When you basically put a sign up said this is a gun-free zone, you're basically inviting criminals to come in and commit murder. Because obviously they don't respect those laws. And there was a great meme with all these cones around a patch of wet cement, and it was all like, gun-free zone, all this stuff, and you see someone who's still walking through it. Because we all know criminals don't follow the laws. That's why they're criminals. So this is purely designed to disarm the population. And as we've seen what happened in Australia 5 years ago, when they implemented the most draconian lockdowns to the point where they were literally incarcerating people into camps. Let's call them what they are. They're camps. Yeah. The people can't fucking resist. And that is the whole point of owning a gun, is to resist tyranny and to protect yourself from criminals.
Yep. And with Australia specifically, I mean, I can't remember which show I brought it up on. It may have been our show last week. It may have been on one of your shows, Comix, but Australia just a little while ago was like, why are machetes are outlawed here? Why are there so many machete attacks all of a sudden?
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, wonder why. You imported a whole bunch of people from countries where machete attacks are the norm, and then you wonder why suddenly there's machete attacks happening again?
Yeah.
It's like, maybe look at the people that you're importing. Not blame everybody who is there that is abiding by the law. And maybe don't blame the instrument or the tool, blame the people that put them to that use.
Well, okay, the issue with that, the reason why they're blaming the tool, I believe in this instance, is because it basically takes all the responsibility on the government for importing all these people who are not compatible with their countrymen. So they got to blame somebody. They can't blame themselves. So we're going to blame this object. Yes, that can be misused, obviously, but any tool can be misused. Look at the number of people in the UK that have taken lorries and started driving over people. That happened quite a bit. We talked about the whole knife crime.
Got freaking Idris Elba saying, okay, we need to get rid of any knives that have a sharp point because
steak knives. You want to get rid of steak knives?
Now we're down to knives are the issue. It's like, it
What's
is
next?
never
Spoons,
the tool that
forks?
is the issue. It is the person who's willing to use it to kill people.
The very
They're going
idea,
to figure out a way either way.
Well, it also, I believe it's both in the UK as well as Australia. You can't carry a box cutter. I mean, unless it's
anything with a straight edge.
Yeah, unless it's having something to do with your job or whatnot. I mean, that is so asinine, the idea that you're not allowed to have a box cutter. You're not allowed to have a sharp knife. What's next? Scissors, forks, spoons,
So
cutting
you're
off people's
saying,
hands.
Sports.
Just to clarify, so Brahma, you're saying CM Punk is not allowed there?
Correct. No straight edge.
That's right.
No straight edge. That's funny.
And
He is the
Kite,
straight edge superstar.
I saw the comment from Kite. I agree. The cops aren't obliged to just make themselves a target, but this was 20 minutes. This was not just the 4 cops that were on the scene. Where is anybody? I mean, there should be some response in a 20-minute shooting attack. Not just we're guiding people out. You kind of sign up for something when you become a cop.
Yeah, that's kind of my issue. And we also have this thing here in the United States too, that
you're not
cops
obliged
are not,
to put your life on the line.
Well, yeah, cops are not obliged to do that. We've seen plenty of shit happen in New York. But the whole idea of having police is to enforce law and order, right? When someone is
more reactionary than
right. It's reactionary. And when somebody is going on a rampage, somebody has to stop this individual. And it's either going to be a civilian with a firearm or it's going to be a police officer. And that's the issue, is if the cops aren't willing to do their job and you're not letting your citizens be armed, then you're just letting people be murdered. And that's the thing that needs to be brought up to these politicians, is that if by
you're not
law,
going to do the job, then you
cops
need
can't
to
intervene.
let people protect themselves.
Yeah. And you're not going to let people own firearms to defend themselves, then basically you're fine with your own citizens getting murdered.
Yep. Well, sir, you need to get out.
I do.
What do you got coming up?
A show tomorrow. I need a video working on. Need to get that out soon. Yeah, hopefully in the next couple of days. But yeah, of course, streaming every Monday and Thursday on my channel, 9 p.m. Central Times. And yeah, you can catch me on Friday Night Tights every Friday. And that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. Good night, folks.
Zachary Levi seemed like fun.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty neat, I have to say.
I caught a little bit of it.
Yeah.
How far is his studio from where you're at?
He's in Austin. So Austin, depending on traffic, is anywhere between 45 minutes to 2 hours.
Right.
I was about to say, maybe that studio needs a tech bro.
Yeah.
Who can do tech bro
it was
stuff.
pretty funny when he reached the website. I went to go check it out, see if he had job openings, but nothing yet. So
Yeah, they have investment openings right now. That's what I
Yep.
saw on the website. Is like, if you're a qualified investor, you can talk.
yeah. But good on him, right? I mean, for seeing the issue within the Hollywood system and going and starting his own studio. Good on him for trying to
I
make
don't
a
know.
difference.
Austin's the best place to have located that, but
I know. It's like, if all the places, dude, Austin, seriously.
it's got to feel a little bit like home, huh?
Well, there is a studio out in Austin. I don't know if it's still there. I think it is. But anyway, folks, if I don't see you, Merry Christmas, folks. Have a Happy New Year. We will be streaming live Christmas Day for Thursday Night Throwdown. So yes, I will be here. And if don't have anything going on, no family to hang out with, come hang out with us. We'll talk nonsense as always. So good night, folks. See ya.
Bye, bud.
Later.
See you tomorrow. Chad, did you have anything specifically that you wanted to hit as well? Because I kind of just dominated with AMFEST and didn't really.
I mean, it kind of was the big thing.
I mean, yeah, it was. There were other things that happened, though. So we talked about Bongino. We talked about AMFEST. We talked about the Epstein files. We talked about the Georgia certification. There were some more drug boats seized.
Oh, well, you know what? What's funny? We didn't even get to because it's the Susie Wiles shit.
Yeah,
her
because it
Vanity
feels
Fair
like it's
interview.
been a
And that
month
was
or
just
so.
on like Tuesday.
I know.
Yeah,
How do you give 11 different interviews to somebody from Vanity Fair if you're in the White House right now. That's insane.
I don't know. It seemed like a really bad idea, but they did it. So,
Well, she did it.
Oh, what's the TLDR on Georgia? Fulton County acknowledged that on over 300,000 ballots, they violated their own rules and chain of custody requirements regarding signatures and proper handling, and effectively admitted
So they
that
certified an election that was not
breaking their
certified
own
in any
rules,
way,
yeah.
which was against the law.
Yeah, Fulton County is Atlanta. So, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's the
20,
TLDR.
the 2020. But we're getting it almost 6 years later, so whatever.
Yeah,
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, in terms of securing our elections, there's two things and they're both with the Supreme Court, and they're the two decisions that are going to be the most impactful for the next probably 15 years minimum. One is the Voting Rights Act and Section 2A regarding the minority majority districts, and specifically the requirement, because we've also had some other case laws that have come through about having to in Mississippi, they're making them redo a state Supreme Court elections, because they said that the way they drew the districts for state Supreme Court justices was disproportionately impacting minority groups' voting capability. So if they fix that, that's going to effectively swing probably, I think, what did we say, 15 to 18 seats in the House?
15 to 18, yeah.
Which, as much as everyone's talking about redistricting, if that happens, there's not enough seats in other blue states for them to try to make that up. It would probably secure the House for the Republicans in 2026 if that decision comes down.
A major component of having anything happen over the rest of the 3 years.
And point two,
hi Sydney,
is the citizenship case, birthright citizenship, because one of the things that could, as a follow-on effect of birthright citizenship, in the event that they clarify that under the 14th Amendment that the meaning of the subject of the jurisdiction thereof does not include illegal immigrants or people here on travel visas or any of the like.
Two people who are not citizens having a child here does not make a child a citizen.
Exactly. But one of the after follow-on effects, by the way, Brahma, would be that you could easily make on an executive level the case that based on that Supreme Court decision, they absolutely should not be counting non-citizens in the census.
Right.
And that is because it's, as per the clarification under the 14th Amendment, they are not citizens. They are not the people, quote unquote, the people as specified within the, the meaning of the Constitution.
Which then automatically makes it completely okay to, I mean, not that we can't anyway, but if you have a court ruling that says, okay, this completely rewrites this, then there's no reason you wouldn't have a census before the 10-year mark, which you could do anyway.
Yep.
But it also clarifies who can be counted to a degree, because at the moment, everybody interprets it as you must count every person in the country in the census. So, yeah. We've got, 26 minutes until it turns about 1 o'clock-ish your time?
Yep.
Why don't you guys ask us questions from the chat?
Yeah.
Because I've got nothing else. We're at the end of the year. We started off dark, but what do you guys want to know?
Well, should point out, Cinevere's in the chat and is saying that you look good in your suit, Brahma.
Thank you, Cindy.
And let's see. Congress needs to clarify citizenship. They haven't in 150 years, so the courts are going to have to clean that up.
Yeah, because there's no way you're getting Congress to agree on anything at this point.
All right,
Toxic
Eric
Man
says,
Flu asked, "Why is everybody gay?
"Oh well,
Why are
Eric,
you gay?"
Eric asked a legitimate question on the voting rule. If it does happen, who would be in charge of making the new districts? The state legislatures.
States.
And
They're always in charge.
The thing of it is, if the state legislatures are now free from the Voting Rights Act, that's the main vehicle to challenge in the South the makeup of. In fact, that's one of the only ways you can challenge a congressional map, because if you go back to the Constitution, it is pretty much sacrosanct that the state legislatures have carte blanche to design their congressional districts as apportioned by the federal government. The state legislatures have only been reined in under the Voting Rights Act to say that if you're a state that has historically, meaning the entire South, disproportionately kept minority groups from having their voting rights, you have to, do things a certain way. Or in other states, if you're designing districts that are disproportionately disenfranchising a racial or minority group, they can be challenged. That's how, by the way, in Utah, that was the basis of the decision by the federal judge to cancel Utah's map, because they said their map was taking out a minority group's voting rights. So it would allow Utah to take back that congressional district again. So otherwise, outside of the Voting Rights Act, there's very little that anybody would have grounds to be able to challenge congressional districts. So it would be the individual state legislatures that would draw them per whatever rules the state has.
Right, which are also being changed as we speak. Kite asked, predictions for next year politically.
Next year politically.
Sorry, it skipped on me. I can't see what the rest of the question was.
Yeah, let's see.
What we believe will happen is some Supreme Court stuff will come down that will probably actually give the Republicans a little bit of an advantage. And while everybody is doom and glooming about the midterm, saying that the Republicans will obviously lose the House, I'm not so sure. It depends on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean, like we just said, if they cancel this 2A of the Voting Rights Act, Section 2A, not Second Amendment, Section 2A of the Voting Rights Act, they're giving, and we're talking about state legislatures that are ready, willing, and able to immediately. We're not talking about Indiana. We're talking about the legislatures that will immediately jump on this and legislate. In fact, even Texas, which already redrew their legislative stuff, if they're freed from the Section 2A of the Voting Rights Act, they could make a completely red map.
Yeah.
I mean, or at the very least reduce it to like maybe 1 or 2.
And screw Indiana for not participating.
By the way,
could right now.
And for people who remember, the Indiana Republicans said the Senate one said, no, we made a deal and we said we wouldn't do it. And so Maryland wouldn't do theirs. As soon as Indiana voted down in the Senate doing that congressional map, Governor Moore in Maryland immediately moved to redistrict in Maryland. So that deal lasted exactly how long it took for the Republicans to vote down doing it in Indiana. And Maryland will still redistrict.
Maybe write a new bill to re-vote on it in Indiana. Kite, last question. If she were to legally immigrate to the U.S., where would you recommend I go? Texas, Florida, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Those are the 3 places I would go, and probably Tennessee at the top of the list, but not any of the major cities.
You're
no
going to
Memphis, no Knoxville.
Yeah. The reason being,
and no Nashville.
There's 5 states in the United States that have no income tax on the state level: Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Washington State, and Alaska.
And Florida's looking at getting rid of property taxes too.
Yeah. So, but Florida's got a lot of other problems. The problem with Florida is you're making up any savings with the property taxes. Their homeowners insurance is fucking ridiculous.
If you can even get it.
You're talking like $20,000 to $30,000 a year in homeowners insurance.
The same amount of companies that are pulling out of California have pulled out of Florida because flood insurance comes from the government. And
if you're not in the flood zone,
wind insurance, which is hurricanes, if it's not the flood that gets you and it's the wind that gets you, is very expensive because it's almost a guarantee to hit you at some point. So
Eric
your rates
asks,
go up.
how much will RAM or computer prices affect the midterms? And the answer is not a fucking
not at all.
No. People who are building their own gaming PCs and dealing with RAM costs they're not voting based on that. Now, if in the greater context of quote unquote affordability, which the Democrats have now magically found as an issue, the fact is, we've talked about this. I think that we are well positioned time wise to start hitting deflationary currents starting this year. I mean, Trump just frog marched the entire pharmaceutical industry into the Oval Office last week. This was another thing we didn't talk about. And where he got them all to basically, they all agreed, all but one of the major pharmaceutical companies has agreed to give the United States the most favored nation drug pricing, which is going to slash drug prices like 700% for some of these things. We're talking like people like, why is it that insulin is $700 a month instead of 15? It's going to be 15 now. They're like, all these costs are going to drop, and these are real things that people see, because when you have a high deductible plan or insurance,
if you have any insurance right now that it's not employee or employer based insurance.
So when you go to fill your pharmacy prescription and the thing that was costing you $200 now costs you $30, you're going to feel that savings. Going to the gas pump, I mentioned earlier in the show, it was $2 a gallon for me today. Like, you're going to see those savings. Now, maybe states like California aren't seeing it, but that's California. You're gonna
states have state taxes.
I think,
and emissions.
And the big beautiful bill is kicking in full in 2026. We're going to start seeing that.
Tips.
Yep. I see that 26 should be a massive rebound year economically, because this
somebody
is also
asked if we're going to implode next year. I think it is going to explode.
No, I think it's the opposite.
You do?
That we are going to, like, our economic growth is going to go off the chart. I see. Beef prices need to get lower,
not implode.
No, that we are going to have, like, people are like, the economists are shocked every time GDP numbers have come out under Trump. Here's the thing. Do you know that imports are negative on GDP? Like, when you do the formula, it reduce, like, anything you import. So if you're raising tariffs and you're making stuff more in the United States, your GDP goes up. They're talking about how strong the dollar is in trading, and it's impacting things. I think we are well positioned now. The thing that's going to really help us out on the next level, hopefully JD Vance can get on this, is convincing Trump to do major. And I think that they've done it a little bit. Is the H-1B reform to try to stem.
He mentioned that in his speech at Turning Point.
Now, here's where I think that Trump's administration is actually more on the right path than I thought, because that new policy they put in where it's got that $100,000 fee per H-1B employee now starting, and there was a lot of confusion about how it's getting implemented, and people like poo-pooed it and said it's not really that good a thing. 17 blue states have gotten on and immediately filed a lawsuit against it. So that makes me think it's actually good policy.
Right.
Because
if they're doing a lawsuit, then
because if there was
something good.
If there were tons of workarounds and it really didn't make a difference, they wouldn't be suing to stop it.
Right. We did miss a super chat. Dead Man for $9.99. Thank you. Book recommendation: The Other Founders by Saul Cornell, who talks about the anti-federalist who insisted that a Bill of Rights be included in the Constitution. Have not heard of it. I'll check it out. I've got 3 Audible credits right now, so got them just sitting there waiting for something to buy.
Yep. I mean, started using the Audible credits. Have you seen that they put out the like full cast editions of Harry Potter? They're pretty good.
I already own them. I don't need a full cast edition.
Like as audiobooks, you already own them?
The Harry Potter books?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't have them before. I would also recommend, as much as he's persona non grata because of stuff he did, the Sandman full audio editions they did in Audible are fantastic.
Is that Gaiman?
Yep, it's Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
Yeah, but
have not checked them out. I've been actually listening to Charlie's first book, and then I will be buying his new book and going through that.
Yeah. Trump also reclassified marijuana to Schedule 3.
Which allows it to be medically studied and is a better move than declassifying it altogether.
Yeah, I'm fine with it because honestly, I do know that I've heard from people who were vets, like especially Global War on Terror vets, that there's a lot of things where marijuana or marijuana products, hemp, THC, whatever, help them with some of their imp stuff more than other things.
I know that I've talked about it on comic shows. I don't know if I've talked about it with you. So the Stanley brothers, who did the strain for Charlotte's Web, the one that stopped seizures, they all went to high school with me. So I am very connected to them. I am good friends with at least 4 of the 11 brothers. And yeah, they've been pushing for this for a long time because they did basically cut seizures down in people from like 250 seizures a day to maybe 1 or 2 solely through medical marijuana. What I don't like in Colorado is the recreational. So I am fine with him doing the medical thing. I do not want it fully legalized because it's been horrible for Colorado and it's been horrible for Nevada. Like the whole recreational use is so annoying in every state.
Yeah, I think that's the truth. By the way, you can't go out in public, and I'm sure you know this from Colorado. The stink of marijuana is so obnoxious.
It's not even just the smoking of it; it's the grows and the shops. You could, like, I have a motorcycle. I haven't ridden it in about a year and a half, maybe 2 or 3 years now, because people from many other states came here, and nobody seems to pay attention on the road anymore. But the smell throughout the whole city, being on the motorcycle, you used to smell like Burger King with their stupid charbroiled, burgers. That's what you would smell at the street corners or whatever restaurant you went by. Now it's just pot everywhere. You go into any area that is not residential and all you smell is pot.
Yep. All right. Did we get any more questions come through?
I'm sure we got a few.
Healthy yeah. Yes, we did make a deal with Argentina for beef, which is good. I'd rather have that beef than Mexican, because Mexican beef has that parasite and don't want that anywhere near.
I know the other thing we could just touch on a little bit. Night, Kitty. Or good morning, whatever it is. So Canada hasn't seemed to notice yet. They're starting to take notice that the refineries in America that we refine much of Canada's oil is a lot like Venezuela's oil. Like in consistency
it's heavy,
and how you would have to refine.
It's the heavy crude variant, which is what our refineries are built.
Canada's starting to take notice that, America's doing a lot of stuff trying to get Maduro out. Not that we're going to war, like Tucker said. That was the other thing. Trump's press conference, where he got the mainstream news to actually cover him so that he could do a victory lap for the year, because they thought he was going to announce we were going to a war with Venezuela. I thought that was hilarious.
I really was surprised he was announcing a sequel to a Harrison Ford movie from the 90s. The 2025 edition of the Patriot Games.
Right.
Or 2026, I should say.
2 high schoolers from every state.
I mean, I loved how my wife was like, I saw a lot of people talking online how it's the Hunger Games. And I was like, yeah. They could have varied the system.
I volunteer as tribute.
Oh, I'm sure the ones from Minnesota won't be Somali. That's for sure.
But it's hilarious that he got them to all carry him, because if they knew it was just a victory lap, there's not a chance in hell any of the major networks were going to cover him. But they even had Tucker saying beforehand, he's announcing war with Venezuela. Ha ha ha.
But I don't think we're actually going to war. I think we are.
I don't either. I think they're putting pressure on Maduro just to say, okay, I'm out. I'm done.
Because they are like, there's a reason we're confiscating the tankers.
Yeah.
Each one of those the Maduro regime, I saw some reports, basically needs around $2 million a day to finance the minimum number to keep their stuff operational. And that's what's coming from, because of sanctions and other things. They're using shadow tankers, which, by the way, the Chinese are not officially running, but it's going into China from.
I thought it was going into Iran.
China, well, no, they're not sending oil to Iran.
I thought that's exactly what they were saying.
Wait, that Venezuela was sending oil to Iran?
That they were shipping oil to Iran for refining.
Iran doesn't have refineries. They ship it out.
I don't know.
I thought, yeah, maybe.
I may have just heard wrong.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I know that anyway. We're confiscating them. That's what all of the entire Gulf Coast refinery infrastructure is built to handle. That style oil, like you were saying, the heavy crude. If and when the Maduro regime falls, and this is where I'm completely. There was somebody I was reading a deep dive article on this week, pointing out the Monroe Doctrine 2.0. What is it really about? Is it about resource scarcity, where we're just trying to get what's ours, right? Because China's locked up Africa,
it's controlling our hemisphere.
Yeah, but it's in our hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in addition to it being our zone, right, we want to be the one handling our zone. Locking up oil from Venezuela and shipping it into the United States for refining makes things much cheaper for us. It's actually owned by American companies. They were seized illegally by the Chavez, now Maduro regime, going back 25 years.
And the Maduro regime is not a recognized government.
No, because that's been an issue for a while. Once we take back over Citgo, like everybody sees Citgo, the gas station, that's who owned most of the Venezuelan oil infrastructure. They'll be able to take it back over. They'll ship it to the U.S. for refining. And guess, when Venezuelan oil was coming in under the Citgo banner in the late 90s is when gas was the cheapest it has ever been in effective dollars, because it was around 80 cents a gallon.
Yeah. 97 at most.
And people are like, well, it was cheaper in the test. It was like, yeah, but 80 cents a gallon when you were earning what you made in the late 90s, it was the cheapest gas had ever been effectively
compared to people. Wage rates. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like if minimum wage was $7.75 in the 1950s, you might have been paying less per gallon. Like a gallon might have only been 20 cents, but you were making like,
if you're filling up your tank for an hour of work, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we're talking like I remember paying a $10 bill and getting change back when I was filling my tank up. Right, like it was great.
Yep.
And so I think that's what Trump is realizing. Now, people are going to say that's going to cost American jobs. This is where the landman thing comes in. We can't make money. Like, it's not always about, sometimes for the
If we
greater
can't
good
get
of,
deflation,
yeah.
then what we can do is drive the cost of oil down so far that cost of goods does come down because the cost of shipping comes so far down. It may not be great for everybody for oil to go that far down, but it does have an effect that equals almost deflation.
Yep. Well, it's not it's the follow-on ripples, right? We've talked about and explained on the show going back how energy costs are the canary in the coal mine for inflation. If you deflate through energy costs, that's when you deflate costs all around.
Right.
So if you're looking at Trump's plan and you look at the fact that we are finally de-immigrating people from the United States, otherwise known as deportation. We are there's a reason I've talked about, like last week, and I think I'll bring it. Rent has been going down now every month since Trump has been in office. Rental rates are a pre-indicator of housing costs, because if the rental market goes down, then the housing market goes down as a result. And people, might be a little worried about, like, we don't like the idea of a housing collapse, but we have to right the ship. There has to be a correction on housing prices. They're too out of control.
We've talked about it before. Yeah. 41 is the average age of a new home buyer, first-time home buyer. It's not sustainable. And this is what I expected AMFEST to be about, was affordability and what we should be doing, along with how to bring people in for the midterms.
So yes, you're going to see a boomer loss on paper, because boomers right now
are heavily invested,
are the disproportionately gaining people from housing bubbles because they own their houses outright. So on
and
paper,
investment properties for the most part.
Yeah. So on paper, their net worth might go down 20-25%. But in turn, the economic follow-on effects of people in their 30s and late 20s being able to buy homes will be much better for the economy and for population growth, because people tend to put off having kids until they have their house and they got all this stuff in order. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of good things that come from that.
Yeah, it's a chain reaction thing.
Yep. So, and
if you really want to know what I think about the elections next year, I think it all depends on that. If I think a lot of the youth voted for Trump because they wanted the affordability and they see him as an outside actor. I think a lot of people voted for Mom Donnie because out of the youth, because they're looking for any disruptor to make the youth actually have a chance in this country. So affordability is the number one thing right now. I think we're in deep trouble unless the Supreme Court rules our way in the midterms, unless we get the affordability thing somewhat under control, or at least start showing some progress towards it. Just my take. And also, we're at almost 3 hours. So
yep, we can.
What do you got coming up, bud?
We got, I guess, possibly MadEPAP Tuesday, maybe, possibly. I would imagine that. And we may, we'll play it by ear for doing our show day after Christmas, depending on how things go over at Ascendant Art. But if anybody wants to, you can check out that channel. That's where me and my co-host Slenderdad do our show every week. Brahm is effectively a regular there. He would on the opening credits, if we had him, it would be with Brahmable,
yeah, I miss like one show out of every 6 months,
as opposed to Mad, who has his reasons, or Imp when the man keeps him at work. 70s also kind of become a regular. Anyway, so it's a fun show. This last week we were just hanging out talking indie game awards, Avatar, and how pointless that movie is.
If we do a show, we should do our top 10 movies of 2025 and top or bottom 10 or something. Or
that's a good point. You know what?
TV shows, whatever. I mean, we're at the end of the year.
Yeah, it'll be the year in review for Ascendant Art.
But you need to make a decision so we can all make lists.
All right, I guess I'll decide. I guess I'll do it. We'll do it. You gave me a good show topic, so that's good.
It's a great show topic.
Yep. So that one works. And so we'll be around Friday evening. So that's Ascendant Art, or here on YouTube or the Rumble, whatever you prefer. But if you guys haven't already, if you can check out the channel and subscribe, that would be awesome. We're trying to grow our subscriber numbers because Slenderdad, my co-host, has a ticking clock where he says that if our sub count ever is lower than our episode number count, he will nuke the show. And so I want to keep that at bay. So we
keep doing shows. So.
Yeah, so we're a good 120 shows, so a couple years away, as long as we don't lose any subs. But if we could gain some, that'll put some episodes in the bank, so to speak. But it's a fun show. It's more relaxed. We don't, tend
to
get
link to Chad's
heated.
channel is in the description below.
So, so I would genuinely appreciate. I think most of the people in chat are already subscribed and hang out with us. But if anybody else who's watching on the replay or lurking like Cinevere was can subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. Doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to hit any bells. Even if you never want to listen, just keep that sub. That doesn't mean anything to you, but means a ton to us. Anyway, so I've done my plug.
Yeah, do you want to check and see if there's memes? Because I forgot.
Yes,
and
there are memes.
Chances are Deeple has memes. So
I believe, yes, there are.
All right, so I've successfully gotten Chad to do a show Friday, which means I will probably be on the show Friday. I will be on Comix tomorrow night. I'll be on Mad's channel if we have something on Tuesday night. Thursday night, I don't know. I am not sure the family life is going to allow me to actually be on Comic Show on a Christmas night, but I will be there Friday, and then we will be back here Sunday, starting a whole new thing going on, I guess.
Man, we got 8.
We're not quite to the new year next Saturday or next Sunday, but we're getting close.
8 tweets of memes from Deeple. All right. The only graph you need to know: trust in government, knowledge of history. The more knowledge of history, the less trust in government. That is, I would say, 100% accurate.
Yep.
We've got Thanos wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, and the Infinity Gems are labeled retard, bigot, incel, fasci, chud, and Nazi.
I think fasci is fascist.
I would imagine. All right. Difficulty: legend, hard mode, normal, easy, brain dead, and then lowest, game journalist.
Yep.
All right. Dictum: when you act like a dick, then act like the victim.
Candace minus the dick.
Yeah. Well, allegedly.
Yeah.
She seems awful.
Maybe she's a Macron.
Yeah. All right. So then we've got a meme of protesters tossing a JD Vance around the Stop Trump protest in Parliament Square, London. And then we've got Anya Forger from the Spy X family. The left thinking they're trolling the right, and the right upset that they don't have a JD Vance ball.
Oh, that reminds me of something from AMFEST too. So Nicki Minaj is doing her interview with Erica Kirk, and they bring up JD Vance, and she's like, "Oh, he's an assassin," meaning like he always hits his target. Probably not the right word to use with Erica Kirk 3 months away. Erica was very gracious about it, but it was a little bit awkward there for a few seconds. And also JD Vance, when he came out, the first part of his speech was, Nicki Minaj knows that I don't look like the JD Vance meme, so I guess that's a win for today.
I was about to be like, why are you so awkward there, bud? Talking to Nicki Minaj.
Give your balls a tug.
It's like, Nicki, what are you doing? You're out there so awkward. All right, then we've got I forget what the actor's name is, but he was in The Patriot, and he was the dad of Malfoy. He was Malfoy in Potter, but he's wearing the "Make America Great Again" hat, and he's got ribbons for "Got What I Voted For Again," and he's got dozens of them. Which
is it
good.
Isaacs something or
Jason? Yeah, Jason Isaacs. That's who.
Okay.
Yeah. He was great in The Patriot. He was so swarmy and evil.
Aha! I actually thought of something movie related before Chad did.
Yep. All right. If we divide 123 genders by white supremacy, how much climate change do we have? Seeing this meme, we have a certain. I heard the words "How dare you" in my mind.
How dare you?
How dare you? All right. Why is it when something dumb happens, it's always you three? This is McGonagall from Harry Potter, and it's the legislative, executive, and judicial branches.
At least we got rid of the NGO branch.
Yeah. All right. Part 3. Leftists having dinner after a hard day of crying about the mean orange man, and it's an adult in a
adult high chair
with a sippy cup, of course.
Yep.
Oh, we've got the "Pay us what you owe us" WNBA player saying "Pay us what you are worth." The crowd of people powwowing and then throwing a green dildo at them for the WNBA.
That just kind of stopped. That sucks.
Well, they're about to go on lockout, which is pretty funny. We've got an old picture of a patient convalescing, and above him it says, "This escape room sucks." And then the nurse saying, "Once again, sir, this is just Britain."
Right.
All right. Remember that triggered liberal woman? This is her now, and it's Tim
Walz.
All right, part 4. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez unveils her new energy plan, and it's a power strip plugged into itself.
That's about right.
Please, spelled PLS. Be patient. My mom took Tylenol.
Texas plate.
All right. And we've got Trump yelling, "What's your name?" Cory Booker going, "What?" And then Trump going,
from
"What's your name?"
Trump from the roof of the White House.
Yeah. And Cory going, "Cory." And then Trump going, "Fuck you, Cory." All right. Trump saying at a press conference, "Don't drink your piss." And then it's liberals with a bottle filled with a yellow liquid gulping it.
Do I have to drink my own urine? No, but it's sterile, and I like the taste.
All right. Best encouragement for a marathon runner I've ever seen. It's a woman holding up a sign that says, "Run like Hillary knows you plan to testify against her." All right. The worst part of censorship is redacted. Redacted, everything redacted is redacted, fine, redacted, trust, redacted, your redacted government.
Yeah.
All right, singing it's Trump going into the East Wing. I came in like a wrecking ball.
You know, that ballroom is going to dwarf the whole rest of the White House. And I think it's hilarious.
It's going to be awesome.
That was another thing we could have talked about. Kennedy Center.
The Trump Kennedy
adding
Center.
Trump to the name and the leftists going insane about it.
We've got a Hassan Piker joke. A dog being electrocuted in the background, and an old man saying, "You stupid dog, you made me look bad on stream."
Yeah.
Because that's a reference to how evil Hassan Piker is electrocuting his dog for getting up on stream. All right, we've got Peter Griffin in an electric chair with the words, "Me in 3 years," being executed because of an AI-generated video of a crime I have never committed. That's Britain, probably, by the way.
It's coming.
All right. Me filing my taxes next year, it's just redacted.
Redacted on every line of the IRS tax form.
All right, we've got the drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket, Arlie Ermy, and he's yelling, he's in a Starfleet uniform, yelling, "Here at Starfleet Academy, you are all equally worthless."
Mm-hmm.
Wanted 5 Democrats who will stand up for the 42 million Americans losing food assistance. That's not really as funny. Probably actually truthful. All right, the Democratic Party in one photo for 2025, and it's the
The
Phillies
Karen.
Karen giving
Yep.
the finger to the camera. Yep. All right, we've got the.
Now we're getting called out for not knowing that some old man is Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog. I never watched that.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know. We've got the Drake meme with looking away, except it's JD Vance looking away from normal Hakeem Jeffries, and then giving the pointer finger when he's fat JD looking at sombrero Hakeem Jeffries. And then we've got Oprah. You get a sombrero. You get a sombrero. Everyone gets a sombrero. I guess we're building up for the next government shutdown.
Yep.
Because we got Dave Chappelle as the crackhead character from the Chappelle Show. Y'all get any more of them sombrero memes?
They're coming.
Yep, part 2. Let's see what we got. Memes part 8. I would like to. It's a cat at a microphone. I would like to apologize to anyone I have not yet offended. Please be patient. I will get to you as soon as I can. Oh, then
Feels
we've got
right.
school pizza, the square pizza, plus the boxed chocolate milk. And it said, school really had us eating pizza with chocolate milk at 11 a.m. My lunchtime was actually 10:30 a.m. because they had to. We had our school was so big that they had to start lunches that early to get everybody filtered
Multiple
in.
trips through the cafeteria.
Yeah, so you were eating lunch at 10:30.
Well, I started school at 6:50, so in high school at least, because we had a 0 hour. So instead of going to homeroom, you went to 0 hour. So I had very early lunch as well.
Man, that sounds very intimidating. 0 hour. It's like, I guess in Colorado where they're counting down, like because they have Cheyenne Mountain over there. It's like DEFCON 1 0 hour for school.
Yeah, but we didn't call it homeroom. We called it first hour. So you had 8 hours or 7 hours, whatever it was. So if you went to the earliest offering, you were in 0 hour, but you got out at 2:00. So you got done earlier.
All right, so this meme we've got Bruce Willis and and Alan Rickman in pajamas in front of a Christmas tree fighting over
Nakatomi
Plaza Lego set. I have a friend who has the Nakatomi Plaza Hans Gruber advent calendar where it's him falling down.
I would love one of those.
Yeah, it's I'm always jealous every time he posts pictures of doing it.
Best advent calendar ever.
All right. And so we've got a picture of a animated girl with a six-pack looking at a card that says, "Are you sure this is the next stage of the World Fist Fighting Championship? What do you mean they're all elite martial artists?" And she's looking at a Waffle House.
I've been in a Waffle House at 3 a.m. when one of those fights broke out. It was bad. It got ugly real quick.
The Waffle House is not for the faint of heart.
Also, the fight started with somebody screaming, "F you skinheads," and I was already shaving my head at that time. I was like 22 maybe, or no, it wasn't even that. I was like 20. So I full on thought they were coming for me.
Oh, look, I asked and I now received. This actually, see, it works pretty good.
Except for the Jedi robes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's close.
They made Candace look a lot better. Her eyes look normally spaced. By the way, Tucker suddenly looks like he's a Pratt brother. He could be Chris Pratt's like older brother. But it's good. I like the meme. It's going to be highly effective. I will repost it.
This might bring everybody down, but Jake Tapper coming in with, we're already getting split apart on things. The left wing is going to bring it in, but it's insane that this rabid anti-Semite who relies on lies and long discredited bigoted bullshit is a popular conservative voice. It's also profoundly disappointing that powerful conservative voices, whom I once thought knew better, stand by her or are silent. That's what I was worried about. Sure, it's just Jake Tapper.
But Jake Tapper's. Yeah, I'll be.
But I
really,
guarantee you, it's going to. This week will be filled with that crap.
I'll be quaking in my boots when Don Lemon shares it.
Don Lemon. All right, everybody. We are at 3 hours and 15 minutes. We are out of here. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Here's some end credits for you with our members, which we will be needing to update by next week. So thank you, everybody, for the super chats. Thank you for hanging out with us. And hope everybody had a great year, even though we started off a little bit upset about the year. It's really just been the past 3 months that I'm upset with. The rest of the time has been pretty good. So take it easy. We'll see you later. And we'll probably keep on talking through the credits anyway. So
that's what we do.
It's what we do. We have a song that nobody's ever heard the lyrics to.
All right, really slim track. I had to reface Tucker. It tried to make a different face. AI fought against Tucker. That's a good one.
Well, if that's not a sign of being bought off, I don't know what is. I can't believe Comix just up and quit and went to bed.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. He's just a regular Bongino quitting because he couldn't get the job done.
It's a short week too. I can understand being tired, but you're only going to be tired for a couple days. I stayed up late with Zax last night, and Cinevere and Kite. Yeah, we did our outros last night, and I mentioned AMFEST, and then we ended up doing like another 40 minutes or so on how pissed off I was at AMFEST on Zax's show, which is not a political show in any way. So, oops.
I mean, I'm sure. Who else was on the show with me?
Cinevere, Kite, The Plot Strikes Back, Zax, Rachel, Stupenzo. I think that. Oh, and Leon.
Yeah, that's not really a political panel.
Nope, not at all. Some of them are not even in this country today. Hey, at Lil Chad, your name's fixed. Happy?
Yeah, that's about time.
I don't know when I fixed it. Definitely wasn't today because I did not update him today because the apps played right before the show.
Leprino Foods, the world's largest mozzarella maker, is closing its dairy processing plant in California. They supply mozzarella to Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's. They are coincidentally, for no reason, just moving to a Texas facility. Wonder why that is.
Yeah. There's that, but there's also the problem that every one of our major pizza chains uses the same freaking mozzarella. It's why they all taste the same. Matt Walsh was saying it weeks ago. Anyways.
Yeah, well, I go local. Find a nice local pizza place.
Yeah, I love paying $25 for a large pizza.
You don't have to pay $25 for a large pizza if you get a good.
You don't know my locals then.
Plus,
I've got
Colorado.
the problem. I've got the problem of my youngest daughter is lactose intolerant. So when we get pizza, I have to get her own pizza.
Oh, should we take off the credit screen?
No cheese. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So I have to get her a no cheese pizza.
That's not a pizza.
That's a completely separate pizza for her. Yeah, but that's the only way I can do it.
You know what?
When we go to a freaking pizza place.
Toast some bread and throw tomato soup on it and just say, this is what you get for being different.
Yeah.
Because that's really what she's getting. She's getting a crunchy flatbread with tomato soup.
It's not tomato soup. It's at least some kind of tomato sauce.
If you're
with
lactose
pepperoni
intolerant
and green peppers and black olives.
Take the pill and eat the pizza like a champ.
She won't do it.
it's disappointing. The Italian in me is just like. By the way, my wife when was making dinner the other day and she broke spaghetti in front of me, and I almost.
Oh,
I was like, why in God's name did you do that? Like, and she's like, what? We always did it. And I was like, this is why you're not allowed to cook this stuff anymore.
spaghetti is not to be broken.
No, she's like, but how do you get in the pot? It's like, you wait 13 seconds and you can move it in.
You
So
stick it
all goes
in,
down.
and then you start stirring it, so
yeah,
it doesn't stick
it's
together anyway, and it softens enough that they all just slide in.
I was like, this is.
And you better have the water salty as the freaking ocean.
Well, yeah, you take out your little daisy or thing, and you just pour it in. And she's like, why isn't that enough salt? And it's like, no, it's fine.
Nope.
It's like, I need it just like I want it like the fucking Dead Sea, man.
It's supposed to be.
I need to,
Talks. You're Italian. Explains a lot. Fascist.
Trains ran on time, Talks. Trains ran on time. But
what is your favorite pizza, or what is the best pizza you ever had? I guess.
Like like of the major chains, or
not really. Here's what I'm getting at. I used to work at Papa John's for years. I put myself through college on Papa John's, and I would make my own pizzas. Like I would bring in Night Talks. I would bring in like Wolf brand chili and throw it on a pizza skin as the sauce, and then put nacho cheese on it. Nacho cheese sauce, I mean, and then the mozzarella, and then I would cook it. A chili pizza was the best pizza I have ever had in my life. A chili cheese pizza was fantastic. Have you ever done anything that is not traditional pizza that you thought was great?
No, I don't think those things ever come out right.
Well, you're wrong.
I do. I'm of Sicilian descent, so I do enjoy the thicker Sicilian style pizza, and I generally like just Italian sausage, a really nice Italian sausage, and green pepper as the toppings. I think they complement each other very well, and they work. I'm not a big. I think pepperoni is a little overrated. I'm good with it. I'll eat it.
It's
but
just
I
a
think,
base topping.
Yeah, but I think
I consider it a base topping the same way that cheese is just on a pizza.
Yeah, I think like a spicy or Italian sausage that's really high grade with a fresh green pepper on a Sicilian style kind of deep dish pizza. Not that, and when I say deep dish, what is not pizza is fucking Chicago style deep dish.
Bread.
That is a bread
or a cake,
bowl.
I mean.
That is
this
tomato.
thick.
That is it is. It's a bread bowl. It's a bread bowl with.
Nick Weiser's going to kill you for saying that
it's a
Chicago
bread bowl.
style.
I'm sorry. It's just a bread bowl with some, instead of tomato soup, it's like a tomato sauce with cheese. It's not pizza. If you can't pick up a slice and not have it slop on you, it's not pizza. That's the whole point. It's a different thing. I mean, a calzone is closer to pizza than Chicago style is. That's my personal Italian informed.
The other one that
opinion.
I made that was pretty good, that was like me making it from home because I got so sick of eating pizza when I worked there. Hamburger helper. Bring in hamburger helper already cooked. Throw it on the pizza, then throw the mozzarella on top. Was really good. When you work at a place for like 5 years and that's like all you eat because you're in high school and then college, and that's like your meals outside of ramen, it's like you find ways to make things that are not just the exact same thing over and over and over.
I swear to God, a case of ramen at the time was like $2 or something ridiculous, like $2-3.
I still eat like 2 packs of ramen at least 2 times a week for lunch because it's like it's so easy. For lunch, I already have enough problems trying to figure out what we're doing for dinner every night, and I only eat lunch about maybe 3 days a week. Normally I have dinner and that's it. But it's like, if I need something, it's like, throw some ramen on.
One of my favorite new cheat codes for a really fun, good dinner when you need it, because it's cheap. It is cheaper. Like, you can get a whole big package of chicken wings at a fairly decent cost. You put the chicken wings into a slow cooker with whatever is your preferred, whether it's buffalo or a regular barbecue sauce or
I refuse to put them into a
teriyaki,
slow
whatever.
cooker. I will put them into my pressure cooker.
You put them in the slow cooker.
I will put them in the pressure cooker.
You put them in a slow cooker at low for like 3 hours. Then you carefully take them out because they're going to want to fall off the bone because they're that tender. You carefully take them out, put them on like a baking sheet, and turn on the broiler in your oven, and you just broil them like 6 minutes. And then you flip them, and it crisps up the outside skin really well, and you've got a really awesome crispy chicken wing that is also super tender and easy and flavored well to eat without having to do a lot of effort.
So we've got 2 places that opened up to the public recently here in town that are actually restaurant suppliers, but it's open to the public. So you can get like cases of chicken wings at majorly discounted prices. It's ridiculous. But you have to buy like 40 pounds of chicken wings all at once.
Well, then that's why I got a because I do this with Costco stuff. I got a one of the vacuum sealers,
Food savers. Yeah,
yeah, and
I've got one.
I buy the bulk and then I break it into small like dinner level packages, and then vacuum seal it and freeze it for use. What angers Italian Chad more, breaking spaghetti or store-bought quote frozen meatballs? The breaking spaghetti does.
Breaking spaghetti is automatic.
Yeah, because the sometimes, especially if you don't get the frozen ones, but if they're the fresh, like packaged meatballs, like usually if you get them from the grocery store, they'll be made with a mixture of ground beef and pork and with some other stuff in there. So it's not that
they just
dissimilar.
don't include the third meat.
Yeah,
because typically meatballs you're going to make with the third meat.
I know I've only ever done 2. What you want to
traditionally it's what veal.
Yeah, because I'm not a
ground
fan
beef
of veal. I don't like tasting the suffering.
And sausage.
I've never been a huge fan of veal. I just
I'm just saying that's the traditional since you're Italian.
But the real mix is when you want to have a whiter or lighter meat mixed in with the beef to kind of balance it, because otherwise it gets too heavy. Like if you ever try to make meatballs with just ground beef, they are very heavy and they don't have a lot of. You want to get the texture balance.
It tastes like a 7-Eleven, hamburger, taquito thing.
Yeah. So what you want to do is for every pound of meat, you're going to use 1 egg. And you're going to mix in a pound of, and you want it at least 80-20 or fattier, right? The fattier you want to blend. You don't want any more than 70% though. It's like 70 to 80%.
You know what probably work great? Bison or buffalo.
Yeah, you got. I actually like using.
It's extremely loose meat because of the amount of fat.
Yeah, I like using ground turkey because my wife doesn't eat pork, so otherwise you would normally mix ground pork in with it as the.
And you're bitching about my daughter not eating cheese?
Yeah, because that's ordering a pizza with no cheese is more offensive than not eating pork.
Going through life without pork is offensive. Offensive on a base level.
Yeah, let's see.
Especially if it's not for religious reasons.
Won't eat veal, but going to bitch about how long pasta noodles are. Yeah, breaking spaghetti is more offensive than not eating veal. I have no problem because look,
learn how to twirl it on a freaking fork.
Yeah, people. It's really, and it's not that hard. It's not hard at all. You can twirl just fine, and people think that's the next thing. Like if you don't break it up, when I see people cutting spaghetti, I'm like, oh, this is wrong. This is so wrong.
I only do that for toddlers.
Yeah, and even then, you're robbing them of the opportunity to learn how to twirl.
No, I'm robbing them of choking to death because
look, if it's
they
not
have
cut,
no teeth.
if it's not cut when they start swallowing, if they're choking, you can pull the string of spaghetti out and it'll be fine.
You are a psychopath.
I'm Italian. You don't you just give them less so that it's easier.
I'm in agreement with Docs. You may be full on fascist at this point.
The trains run on time.
Give the toddlers full size noodles.
Yeah. That's how you do it. Gotta go full angel hair too. Really make it.
So pasta dishes. You as an Italian, what do you think of chicken tetrazzini? I don't think it's Italian in any way, but it's a pasta dish.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are kind of Americanized Italian food.
Have you had it?
I've avoided it because I've never. I prefer like if I'm going out to eat, and that's
not out to eat at home.
Oh, like actually making it at home.
Yeah, easiest recipe ever. Shred chicken. Use the chicken broth from your chicken that you boiled to cook your noodles, so the noodles take on some flavor. And then all you do is throw together a cream of chicken, like a family-sized cream of chicken, family-sized cream of mushroom. Throw that in, throw the chicken into that, mix it all together, and then pour it over noodles, mix it a little bit into a baking dish, throw on a whole bunch of cheese, cook it until the cheese browns. Great meal.
Do you want to hear my
fantastic meal?
All right. Well, my hot take is it's an American casserole. It's not really an Italian dish.
Yeah,
it's a casserole, and
I asked the question the way I asked it.
Yeah, I don't. I avoid anything with cream of mushroom as a base.
It's mixed with cream of chicken. Oh, and sour cream. You've got to throw about a half pint of sour cream in there as well. That kind of breaks it to where it's not as thick. It's good stuff. You ever come out here, I'm cooking it for you. I don't give a shit what you say.
I mean, if you want to make a casserole, that's fine. Yeah,
it's not a casserole. It's a chicken tetrazzini.
Well, we got onto food, and it's a fun topic. I think me and Brahma are probably both the primary cooks in our houses.
My wife heats up things. I cook. I'm the one who smokes meat. I'm the one who grills meat. I'm the one who makes actual meals. She is very good at heating up things.
My wife is excellent at baking, which is a very scientific
She also
process.
does that. Yeah.
And I think there's people can either mentally, I think, be a very good cook or a very good baker, because they're very different skill sets. Because with baking, you're following a precise recipe and it's very specific. Like you have to follow a routine.
The recipe is, and you do it.
Whereas
I throw on spices to whatever I feel like.
When you're a cook, like I work with a recipe, but I'll call audibles as needed to get it to where it needs to be. Like sometimes things just aren't working and you need to add a little more of this or a little more of that, right? You need to add more oregano, or you need to add a little more salt, or you can't.
You know what the awkward part of it is? I don't like to eat my own cooking. So like, even if my wife is a worse cook, technically, like she doesn't do most of the cooking, I don't like eating my own food. But everybody else likes it. Everybody else loves what I make. But I lose my appetite the second I'm done spending 2 hours making a meal.
It does take a long time.
I don't care anymore. I don't want to eat it.
What's funny is my wife will complain because when she she's starts cooking things, and if I'm coming out, I'll see stuff on the stove and I'll move the pots so that they're properly aligned over like the burners and everything.
The correct burners and at the correct heat. Don't use the numbers, people. When you get it to a boil, then you turn it back down to like 4 or 5, because it'll still boil.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Well, do you just want to do it for me?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm just helping."
It's kind of like the men's version of going back and redoing the dishwasher. Because my wife does that to me all the time. If I actually do help with the dishes, she goes back and she rearranges everything that I put into the dishwasher. And it's like, then why did I do it at all?
And so secretly the answer is yes. Yes, I do want to take over cooking because you're doing things wrong.
Yeah. Yep. Toxic Man Flu for $5. Brahma may be a sock shoe socialist, but he likes to pork. I mean, likes pork. Indeed. I do enjoy pork, not to pork. Super straight.
Yeah. But yeah, cooking is fun, but I agree with
Time
Brahma.
consuming.
Like if I'm really taking time doing it, I do lose interest in the eating by the time it's done. Which is one of the reasons I do like a slow cooker, because I can prep and put something in and walk away for like hours. And then
Yeah, I don't start that early.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're doing like pasta, if you want to make fresh meatballs, I usually will do the meatballs around 11 a.m. and I
Oh, you're
get
talking about
them.
an Italian Sunday sauce now, huh?
No, well, I mean, this is a
Sunday spaghetti feast.
This is a regular, you take a slow cooker, you get one of the large jars of sauce as your base, and then because this is when you don't have time to do the full, because if you're really doing the to-do, it takes a long, long time. But if you're just doing this for
What do you mean jars of sauce?
If you're just doing it on a daily, like on a Tuesday, you're going to start with a base, like a ragu or whatever.
Oh, hell no.
You start with
tomato sauce, or I start with San Marzano whole peeled, stewed, and squeeze them and make my sauce base out of that.
I'm talking about I'm just talking about when you're trying to do something on a regular day where you're not taking forever. No. If you're doing full sauce from scratch, you're talking about getting up at like 6 a.m. and starting for real.
I don't start any sauce with a jarred sauce.
This is for average people. You can start with one of those as the base, and you're going to add some things in, because once you add the meatballs, you're going to be able to add some vegetables, and it'll spice it up good. It's fine as a starter.
Do you put green peppers and red peppers into your sauce?
I put peppers. I put mushrooms. I do a lot of stuff in there to try to. I even put carrots.
Oh, I'm not okay with carrots.
No, you want to balance out some of the flavor, and if you slow cook it, it'll soften it up.
Do you put sugar in?
I put a little bit of whole milk to cut the acidicness.
I might try that, because I absolutely cannot handle sweet sauce. You put sugar in and I'm pretty much out.
I don't want to sweeten the sauce, but I do want to cut the acidic level just a skosh, because once you add the meat in, because the way I do the meatballs, my family's way of doing it, some people will brown the meatballs by using an oven, putting them on a baking pan and doing it that way. My family is always taught, and has generations now, you basically fry them in a skillet to brown the meatballs to get them, so that they have the outside firmed up. You just fry them in some olive oil, and then you put them in the sauce to simmer. It's either way you're doing it, because you want to solidify the outside so the meatballs don't break up when you slow cook them in the sauce.
Don't fall apart. Right.
So we do, we do it with using the olive oil, browning them up, and then putting them in the sauce. And you want to let the sauce with the meatballs simmer for at least 5-6 hours if you can.
I also throw in some spicy Italian sausages, the links.
Yeah, what meat you want to put in to balance out kind of depends on the meats you're using to mix your meatballs. If you're using pork and beef.
Apparently not in your house.
No, I don't, because my wife doesn't eat pork. I use ground turkey. It's fine. But that means like if you're using the pork, I've always found with the pork and beef meatballs, a mild Italian sausage is a very good complement because of the pork flavoring. With the ground turkey, I usually would, I'm gonna tell you like a chicken, basically little pieces of like chicken. Well, brown, like you skillet just kind of brown them real quick, and then put them
Chop
in the
and
sauce.
cube chicken.
Yep.
Throw it in.
Yeah, because that way the white meats blend with each other, and then you're gonna just be taking, draining the the oil that rises up and separates over the course of the slow cooking of the sauce. And then you use angel hair, rigatoni, whatever good pasta you're gonna want to cook it
Use
al dente.
thin spaghetti. I don't use
that's what-
regular spaghetti.
That's
use
what angel
thin.
hair is. Yeah, angel hair.
No, it's completely different than angel hair.
Angel hair is thinner than thin spaghetti.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't use angel hair. I use thin spaghetti.
Well, then you should use angel hair. It's better.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Whatever.
not at all.
You're being silly. Actually,
No,
I actually prefer
angel hair is far more limp and slimy. It's hard to get it al dente. Thin spaghetti, you can.
No, if you do, like,
Much
if
easier.
you get like Barilla or any nice brand of angel hair, if the water's rolling boil and you've salted it properly, you're talking about maybe about 7 minutes to get it al dente.
Everything's about 7 to 9 minutes.
No, I'm talking like 7. You got to cut. Like, it's not going more than 7 because you've got to count. You want to cut it off at 7 because once you mix the sauce into it, it's going to still absorb moisture from the sauce. So you're going to want to account for that to keep for it. It's like trying to account for the ice melt when you're doing
That brings us to the next question then. Do you mix your sauce and your noodles, your pasta, in the same pan, or do you keep it separate, plate the pasta, and then top it with the sauce?
So the answer is all of the above. What you do is
also, do you take some of the pasta water and put it into the sauce and then boil it down?
No.
For the starch.
No, I don't mess with that. So what I do first is I separate out the meat, right? You take out the meatballs, you take out the chicken or sausage, whatever meat stuff. Sometimes in my family we put chunks of pepperoni, whatever, depending on the style of meat sauce you're making. You separate that out into a bowl, so you put that on the table so people can put that on their plates with whatever meat they want. Then you put sauce into the pot with the pasta, mix it around so that it's I usually use like a ladle, so you're putting a little bit in at a time, so you don't want to drown your pasta in sauce, right? You don't want it to be too sauced, right? You mix it around till it's properly sauced but not overly, and then you take the leftover sauce from there, and at least in my family, we would put them in like little serving bowls where you could add sauce on top if you wanted. Personal preference at that point.
Ramekins.
Yep. So that way you can, what some people liked putting a lot of sauce on their stuff. Some people wanted a little less, and some people didn't add any extra sauce. That's your call as an individual when you want to mix in. So that, and then you plate that, put the other couple extra containers of sauce for people to serve themselves with their plates, and then you're good to go. And when it comes to cheese toppings, right, as is being asked, fresh grated Parmesan, right, not the dried out Kraft sawdust. If you read the ingredients, that's one of my favorite things. If you read like the Parmesan like cheese and Romano mix that you get from Kraft, it says contains a certain amount of sawdust. It's just like, that doesn't sound like it should be in there. Just actually, if you go to, I know Brahma goes, if you go to Costco, they sell a nice big bag of freshly grated real Parmesan cheese that you can top your pasta with, and it's very good.
Yeah, not here. We get a plastic jar about that big that has the Parmesan and Romano mix.
Yep. Oh,
shredded, not shred. Yeah, shredded. Flakes that you just toss onto everything.
Oh yeah.
And yes, Copied is right. I put red pepper flakes into the sauce, and then after it's done, I also top it with red pepper flakes. I
We
like
put
my
red pepper.
sauces spicy.
Yeah, we put red pepper flakes on the table again for personal preference. You don't want to add too much to it.
Yeah, I stopped caring. You're
So
gonna eat
yeah.
what I made you, and it's gonna be spicy.
Well, yeah, there you go. That's sometimes I have had times where my father specifically wanted a spicier sauce. That's when we'd get the pepperoni, the hot Italian sausage, the red pepper flakes,
Yeah,
all that kind of
spicy
stuff.
Italian sausage, red pepper flakes. You can even toss in just a couple dashes of Tabasco into the sauce.
When you put some Frank's Red Hot on there,
Frank's works too. Any hot sauce.
Brahma puts that shit on everything.
Pasta visual, when I make it, I throw a ton of freaking Frank's Red Hot in that. I like my pasta visual to be burn your mouth hot. Also, my green chili. I use the hottest Hatch green chilies I could find. Nobody else will eat it but me, but I use the hottest green chilies I can find, and I still throw in hot sauce into it. I mean, love spicy, but not quite to like curry. Different kind of spice.
Yeah, I like my go-to with like going to a Thai place is like the coconut curry chicken dish. Usually a really nice and spicy, fun dish to eat.
Funny story from, what has it been, 2 years now. So went down to Texas visiting the parents. Kids are with me. We go to their favorite Chinese restaurant. So I order sesame chicken, and I was like, I want it as spicy as you can make it. Like, look at me. I want it spicy. I'm not joking. So I think the cooks tried to play a trick on me and literally made it so super hot that nobody could stand it. But my daughter also ordered just regular spicy level sesame chicken. Mine comes out almost black, the sauce. Hers is, the usual color. And she's like, how is it after I've taken like 5 or 6 bites? And I'm doing everything I can to keep sweat beads from coming out of the top of my head because this was the spiciest thing I have ever had. But I kept the sweat beads out of my head. I was like, do you want to try it? Because it's really not that bad. And she was like, no. So she goes to the bathroom. Immediately, I suck down a whole glass of water, then take her glass of water, suck it down. And all the cooks are looking over the little half wall, just laughing. They've been watching to see how I would react. And I held it for a good 10 minutes. But then suddenly just, sweat pouring everywhere. And everybody at the table was like, did you really just refuse to sweat just to get over on your daughter about the spicy level? I was like, yes, I did. And I really wanted her to take a bite. So I put one of the pieces of chicken on her plate and it burned the living hell out of her mouth. And it was a great moment.
I just love this line. Like burns going in and coming out. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the downside.
It's part of the fun of spicy.
All right. Well, people got a good amount of bonus time there, I think, tonight.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. That was fun. Well,
next time we'll discuss non-Italian dishes.
Yep. There you go. Next time people super
we'll go
chat
into smoking meats of some kind.
Next week you can super chat on which meal topics you'd like discussed in the after show.
What are you doing for Christmas Eve?
What for the meal? Christmas Eve is Chinese food because we've got my brother's coming into town and we don't know exactly what time he's going to get in. So it's something that we can just order and get. Christmas Day, we're doing a full-on turkey and oven roasted turkey, kind of like Thanksgiving style.
Okay. Doing prime rib Christmas Eve with au jus. And then Christmas Day, I'll be doing a ham.
Yeah, that's nice.
Probably the same potatoes for both days, but it'll be a long cook on the prime rib, and I mean ham. You're just heating up anymore. Just get it.
Getting a Virginia baked ham.
Yeah, with none of the crap that you throw on it afterwards.
You're not
the
getting
glaze.
Like the honey baked glaze.
I freaking hate glaze. I want ham to taste like ham.
I like the glazed ham, but in Virginia,
I don't like sweet at all.
We do you have any of the? Do you have the honey baked ham store around you, or is that just something in Virginia?
No, we'll just hit up King Soopers, pick up a spiral cut ham, and throw it in there. People who want glaze can throw it on it themselves. I don't do the glaze.
We actually have honey baked ham stores, like that are fast. Like in addition to doing the hams, they will actually do like deli sandwiches from the ham. It's delicious. Like they'll they have a slicer there to actually do straight fresh like ham slices for the deli sandwiches, and they're fucking amazing. So but I guess that's because they're based out of here, so maybe that's just something you find in Virginia.
Yeah, local production, so maybe. All right, everybody. I think we're done. Have a great Christmas. We will catch you next Sunday. Night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.